Hello, folks. My name is Walt, and this is The Shattered Sea, a Forgotten Ruin play with sci-fi writers playing old school D&D. We have a big round table of players ready to get some dice rolling across the table. We're starting off with Big Benny being played by James Ward. How are you, sir?
Hey, buddy, I'm real good. Looking for a bunch of good kills today.
Right on. We have Richardson, the deployed air ground response element team member, played by Jesse with the epic beard.
Good afternoon.
And speaking of epic, the epic avatar, which he changed from the dumpster fire, we have Mr. J.R. Handley playing Rick James.
I'm Rick James, bitch. Hey, how you doing?
The only thing that would have made that better is Elvis, howling at the end. And speaking of howling, we have Sparks playing Bren Villanueva. How are you, sir?
I am doing great, sir. How are you?
Trying to keep my enthusiasm under control as Wilbur Aloysius Cookemeyer being played by Michael Rothman.
Don't eat it. Don't do it. Put it back. Put it back.
I'm loading up on my protein. Here, just so you can see.
J Mac playing the undead whisperer Crowley.
I'm hoping just not to be one of Benny's kills today.
One can dream.
Chaos Actual sporting the epic background. Whoa.
And an invisible hand.
He's playing, of course, Rock Powers. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. It's good to be here with everybody. Thank you for excusing my absence last week while I was wandering around the wilds of Northern California.
Excellent. And while wandering those wilds, he brought in Ted Lehman, who is a leather worker extraordinaire. Look at those hats. Those things are epic. Epic.
Awesome lighting that we've got. Happy to be here. Looking forward to hopefully not a sudden death. I've heard stories.
Well, it depends on who you talk to. Definitely depends on who you talk to. So we had quite the game last week. Of course, we were down a bunch of dudes, which wasn't a big deal. It just kind of, we just kind of did what we did and made it work. The boys decided to get their groove on and go a different way, kind of clearing the way for the rest of the team as Rock Powers had deployed to speak to Admiral Morgana, who was a naval commander who came in with a flotilla of ships who's going to be supporting you guys taking over that island. So as a quick recap, a splinter element of the crew led by Rick James made their way through the sunken necropolis with the assistance of Gerzai, the half-ogre priest. After making contact with elemental spirits of the island, the group enters the sunken graveyard and encounters another spirit that warns them of the Lords of Fang and Fog. Fighting past the unquiet dead, the crew clears a path through the underside to fight the Slitherfangs acting as guards to the temple. They enter the beach on the other side to link up with the rest of the crew and their allies. And that's where we're picking it up if you're going to do that, you got to do it from this room. My wife, she's in the other room like, dun, dun, dun. Oops, wrong picture. Although that is some of Ted's work. We'll get to that in a little bit. So you guys hit a forward section of the beach where Rock Powers comes back into the picture. You guys ascend from the bottom of the sunken necropolis where you guys were playing. Oh dear, that's a lot of nonsense. Where you guys were playing last week. So you enter from this kind of like exit right here. Rock Powers comes in by Griffin again, landing with a couple of other Griffins. As those things come in and drop everybody off, Rock is with three men in sort of like half armor and robes. They are three of the mages from the Taken Track, which is a a swampy area in the Shattered Sea off to your east. They've come to help you, and those mages, walk up, tether their greetings, and then remain quiet as Rock returns to the group. What do you guys do? You have to go forward. For the Master Sergeant and Rock Powers, you are also greeted with two other members you don't recognize. So you have a large, probably 7.5, 8 foot tall, very, very muscular armored man. God damn it, I keep picking that one, it's just because the work is so glorious. We'll get to that in a minute. There's a couple of guys you don't recognize. The first and foremost is this huge armored giant that's right here down in the bottom. And he seems pretty comfortable with Rick James and the rest of that side of the crew. Also arrive. Somebody's doing something weird. Also arriving per Griffin. And I don't see his character now. He disappeared. There he is, right here. You have a gentleman in leather armor. He's carrying a couple swords. He's hooded, and he looks like a native, except for on the patch. He's got a leather work patch sewn into one arm, and it looks kind of like a very understated patch of the old American flag.
Does the patch glow?
Oh, what's that?
Does the patch glow or look like it's magical or anything?
Nope. And that would be Ted's character, Samson. He is Rock Powers met him on the boat. It was negotiated through Admiral Morgana that he would be assisting you guys. He was sent supposedly by the Rangers of the Broken Teeth to give you guys a hand.
Is he wearing a red shirt?
He is not wearing a red shirt. Although, in this light, because of all the doom and gloom, there might be a hint of red in his leather armor. Okay. It depends on how it was tanned, correct, Ted?
Oh, brown pants for sure. But yeah, but yeah, the red leather, the pigments in the dye could be misconstrued as red if you squint hard enough.
Gotcha.
All right.
So where are you guys going? Are you guys going toward the north, toward the Temple of Fang and Fog, which was that huge Cobra temple you guys found in the on your last aerial passover?
Cool. Can I get an identify spell from the magic users?
You got to talk to them first.
Okay, where are they? I'm talking.
All right. There's 3 of them, one lady and 2 men. The 2 men seem to be kind of like the junior of the group. She seems to be in charge. They keep looking to her and deferring to her as they're pointing around the area and stuff like that. You approach her and she says, "Yes, little thing. What may we do for you?"
I have this big black axe, and I know it's magical, but I don't know anything else about it. Could I get it identified, please? And then I'll owe you a big favor.
How can such a small man portray such big favors?
Oh, you have no idea what a powerful gnome can do.
She says, the 2 words you speak, powerful and gnome, are often anathema in our experience.
Yeah, okay. Either you're going to do it or you're not going to do it. What kind of deal can I make with you?
She says, she kind of looks a little uncertain, and then she looks to Rock Powers and she says, "Captain, do you vouch for this creature?"
I don't, but
thanks, buddy.
Anything for you.
Let's see. We got Lord Dalius, blood tanned leather. He'll fit right in.
Isn't that what the red caps are all about?
So she looks to the rest of the crew and says, "Will anyone vouch for this thing?"
I'll step forward and raise my hand. He hasn't killed me yet.
And she says, "You are the captain's junior."
Mad Boy is what I call him.
She says, "Lay out those items which you wish to be indicated for their abilities, and I will do what I may."
Okay, cool.
I'm going to set out 2 items as well, my bowl necklace and the mermaid dagger.
Okay.
And I'll throw in that Thor-like hammer of a sword.
Oh, you're going to throw that down? Got it.
And if this is all in one shot, okay, sure.
Yeah,
then
yeah.
I'll throw
good.
in my sickles.
Okay.
We've already determined that the spear gun is not magical in any way, correct?
The spear gun is not magical.
Oh
no,
I mean,
is.
Well,
That thing is.
well, Jr.
Roll a 20 and find out.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's magical.
That thing is a
Well,
mystical tactical nuke handheld.
Cool.
All right. So
Well, somebody said they were doing detect magic on it recently, Jr. So
I can't detect magic. I can only tell you if it's magical, in which case the answer was yes.
That's. I'm putting it down just cause. I'm going to beat Jr. later.
All right, I'm stripping down. I'm throwing my armor on the pile of magical weapons.
Oh my God, you guys!
which armor are you
Well,
stripping?
you're paying.
The red armor I took from the undead lord.
Yep. Okay.
Captain Powers,
This is going to be the adventure. Just describing all this stuff.
So
Hey, throw this box on here. Let's see if this is magical.
she she lowers her head, holds up her hands as if to say, "All right, let's get this done." And the 2 men behind her walk forward. You would expect some sort of glow or explosions or fireworks. At the very least, pixie dust causing Nick to miss the jump shot. But so
the next shot, I'll go over the top, and we'll see if we can do it.
Nice.
All right. Yeah.
Nick, are you throwing anything on the pile?
He has his form-fitting magic breastplate he needs identified. I'm telling him this.
And the cloak?
In the cloak, yes.
Okay.
As you go to move the cloak,
Oh my God!
it resists.
Yeah, of course it does.
It's
What
you
you
hear
said
that
no.
you hear that sensation in your head of, all right, first of all, you and I both know that there's more here going on than meets the eye. Do not put me in front of those hacks.
Well, I can do that for you, but that's going to take 1 off the favors. I just work here.
I see. So you're no longer in charge. Your boy declares you shall put your cloak on the pile, and now you're not in charge.
Oh, I see. You're attacking my massive ego.
He says,
according to several ex-girlfriends, it's huge. But I have big socks. So, no, I'm just reminding you that I am in charge. And if you don't want to be identified, because you're keeping a little tally score of everything, and I like that, but I have to keep a tally score too. Now we could have a partnership where we're like a superhero team. Do you know what a superhero team is? Where you're Colossus and I'm Nightcrawler or Wolverine, and we throw each other around fastball specials. But if you want to play add and subtract, well, I sure would hate to take off this cloak and have to add.
He says, fine. He says, consider your tally 1 lighter.
Look at the size of my ego.
Yeah, there we go.
Huge.
Good job.
So, okay, so the gentleman who very much looked like semi-armored scribes, this one guy, he's sitting there and he's like, he's going through the pages of what they've just written down, and the first guy says that he says the axe is, and he gives you like the impression it's like a +1 axe. So
Really?
as far as the nature of it goes, but once per day, it will summon ghosts to fight with you.
Oh yeah. Okay, good.
He doesn't have a name for it. He doesn't know too much about little boy things such as like gnomes and stuff like that. But he's saying that the properties, he's almost 100% positive of the properties he just conveyed to you.
Okay, cool.
I name it Casper's Unfriendly Axe.
No.
No, that's the name. That's the name it is. No, everybody who wants to vote on the axe name, raise your hand. Casper's Unfriendly Axe. We all vote. Your axe is now named Casper's Unfriendly Axe. Sorry, James M. Ward, legendary game designer.
The breastplate. The breastplate is very much like those fang shields that you got that will turn you into different animals.
Mm-hmm.
Is very much like that. It's called the Plate of Ursus, and it will turn you into. He's pretty sure it will turn you into a bear.
Cool. Bear.
And then he shows you like a what do you call it, a like an inscription on the inside. And then he whispers the word, what the word is, into your ear and says, once per day, this will change you into something very powerful, reminiscent of a bear.
I could
I
do
don't
that
want
for
to be a
free.
bear. I want to be like a werebear.
Oh my god.
I want to be like if Wolverine were a bear.
I don't think you want to be a werebear.
Can always be a were possum.
Oh God, no.
Yeah.
He says, well, I can't speak to the nature of it, but I can just tell you what it does.
I would hate to have to see your manager if that's not what it is.
And she's behind him, like with her arms crossed, like doing one of these, like almost like they're getting rated on all of this.
Yeah, exactly. Good.
So JR, you're looking for the dagger,
the mermaid dagger, and the magic serpent belt that I have, and the bullhorn. Those are 3.
Oh my
one
god.
time I was in a bar down in San Diego, and this guy offered to show me his mermaid dagger.
Did it happen?
I was lonely and I needed money.
No, it was magical.
That's the kind of bar you hang out at, huh?
We try not to judge. All right. So the dagger, it's a weapon that transforms. So it as a dagger, it's just a normal dagger. But you can change it into weapons that will more adequately work underwater. So spear, net, stuff like that. It'll change shape to the nature of what you need. So you gotta capture something underwater, net. You have to stab something, trident or spear. You have to open an oyster. It's still a dagger.
Huh. Cool.
You got that?
Yep, I'm writing it down.
Yeah, and it's not named, so it's not something of legend or anything like that. The guy who's got the book, he starts conferring with his buddy, and they're going back and forth, and they look pretty heated. And then the guy kind of like does one of those things where he hands you back the medallion with the bull symbol on it. And he's like, this is defying our abilities.
Huh.
We don't know what it is, but we know it's dangerous.
This is an
Then what's
afterthought.
the
I got it.
This is an afterthought. Could I have thrown my that thing we found in the last week's session?
The black onyx stone.
Yeah.
They look at it and they're very excited by it. They know what it is. So kind of like it's a religious relic of the old sun faith.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like it's used for last rites. So this can supposedly bring things back from the dead, but the downside to this is if it's not used by a priest of the old sun, the effects are they vary widely.
Exciting.
So if you're a priest of the old sun, like your friend, the giant in the armor, it's not a big deal. You hand it to them, they can use it and focus their prayers through it, and boom, guys coming back from the dead, they can reincarnate, they can it makes it easier for them to do their job. If it's not used by somebody from the old sun faith, then effects can be very random in what it does.
Chaos. Awesome. I'll probably keep this to myself.
And what was there anything else?
Sickle.
The sickles. They are also very excited about those. One of them kind of like looks off in the distance, and he pulls it back behind his ear. And as it does, they start doing that vibration thing, kind of like that vibroblade thing. And he points the other one at a coconut in a tree, kind of like off in the distance, and they throw it. And it throws much like a boomerang. It cuts down the coconut and then returns, and it perfectly returns to his hand, Thor's hammer-like.
Nice.
And he says, and the scribe hands them back, and he's like, "Oh, cool!" And he looks back at like the manager, Karen, and she's shaking her head like, "No."
And Brent's like, well, that's helpful if like we ever need coconuts.
But it's a +2 weapon, and when you throw them, they return.
Excellent. +2 on to hit damage.
Yes, +2 to hit and damage.
Right.
Your Thor sword, the one that gets heavy.
Yes.
Also defies description, but they know it's dangerous. It's very powerful magic trapped in the sword. Very powerful magic.
Can we call it a Thord?
A Thord? Yes. So the oh my god, this is going to hurt my soul all day. The Thord is increasing in weight when you try to wield it. They know it's not a it's like a qualifier. The blade is testing you, but it's not intelligent like Rock Powers' cloak. It might be some sort of what do you call it? It's probably some sort of qualifier. Something has to happen before you can use it properly. That's what they think, but it's defying description. They can't tell what it is. And every time something defies description, Karen's just shaking her head, very very disappointed. Anything else?
Red armor.
Oh, the red armor.
Also, Richardson's armor.
Yep.
Yes.
Well, you already know what that is.
Yeah.
So
Oh, I was going to see if they had anything more to add to it besides the commanding undead and
You got naked
looking
for no
cool.
reason.
No, he wanted to get naked with us.
well,
This is a
it's
bonding experience.
it's the pretty much the manual that you had, quote unquote, told you everything you needed to know.
Okay.
So it does what it does. And then that red armor is +3 armor.
Ooh.
And once per day, you can, if you make a successful hit on an enemy, whatever damage you do to that enemy will be transferred through the armor and used to heal you.
Cool.
That's fun.
Does JR count as an enemy?
Anybody you decide to
Okay.
pimp smack with the red armored glove,
Okay,
Uh-huh.
cool.
So it's like vampiric touch built in.
pretty much. Yep.
Sweet.
All right. Yes.
One quick question. With Thord, was it, just for my own notes, was it a one-hander, two-hander?
It's kind of like a Viking sword. So it's got that like one-handed with a little counterweight at the end.
Okay, okay.
So very easy to use with a shield.
Do I discover anything else about my spear gun other than that it's a tactical nuclear weapon?
It's +1 to hit and damage. and on a roll of 20, it causes some sort of like pressure wave or explosion.
Ooh, natural 20s. Lots of luck with that.
I can't wait.
All right, so you guys decide to keep going toward the temple.
Yes, and I can't believe you guys all dogpiled on my favor.
Yeah, well, that's what they're for. But did he know about the serpent belt? He didn't know the horn.
Oh yeah, the serpent belt. That is it is a magical device, and it's not used as like a weapon or a magical item for you. I don't know how to say this, JR, but you take the belt off and you put it on somebody else and then command it to constrict. So you could put it around somebody's neck and say tighter, and it does. And their safe words aren't going to work.
This is very
Sexy
awkward.
times.
Nick, for some reason, there's no sound coming out of you.
Is that how you get zombie sex slaves? Asking for a friend.
Well said, JR.
Try
Well
again,
said.
Nick.
No.
You can have to sign.
No, his mic is muted on his side.
I was muting myself.
There we go. All right,
Boomer
gotcha.
muted me. I was going to say about that constricting belt thing. Same story in San Diego at that bar.
All right, so you guys decide to move forward.
Yeah.
So how am I fitting in with this? Like, am I there previously before they got here, or just kind of hanging out in the trees?
No, you came in with the three mages. They were told by the admiral running the flotilla that you joined up with that you were there to help.
Okay.
And that certain powers that be want you in the mix for today.
Okay.
So that's kind of all they knew. You're kind of along for the ride. You know that they've been trying to take over this island, and you know that they're here to eliminate several dangerous undead threats. The things that kind of worry you is the Knight of the Old Sun, the big half ogre cleric. You've had dealings with them before, and they do not tolerate the shenanigans you normally get up with. So if you're going to do something creepy, you got to do it off to the side. The other thing is that they seem to have a golem working for them. It looks like a 9-foot-tall skeleton with 4 arms, armed with 4 sabers.
His name is Matt Damon.
And his name is Matt Damon.
Matt Damon. Okay.
Hey, we love him.
You get used to that guy.
I don't know. I love Casper's unfriendly axe now.
Not me.
Now, after this whole identification process, I need some clarification on what is considered shady.
The normal things that you've been paid to do over the last 20 years since you've been here. But you let some of your information slip to Rock Powers while you guys were on the ship together, kind of going over this whole thing. You told him that you came in with the last group of rangers. You've been wandering the ruin for about 20 years until one day, things started changing and getting slightly green in uncomfortable places. And, one day there were tusks. You weren't quite full orc, but at the same time,
And my penicillin wouldn't take care of it, huh?
yeah. There's a slight greenish gray tinge to your skin. You're slightly taller than the average dude. Rock Powers is looking over his notes, and he's agreeing with this.
I'm using my official Ruin journal.
Oh my God, that is gorgeous.
That is awesome.
And who made that, Ted Lehman?
Somebody around here.
Ted Lehman, who is a master leather worker. And in you were 82nd Airborne, right?
Indeed, yes.
Oh, right on.
You are a rigger.
I was, yeah. So I learned my sewing skills initially from the Army.
Nice.
And
Nice.
you are working with GE on a licensing deal to provide high quality leather merchandise for us.
Yes, and I'm super stoked to get things rolling with that, so I can get your guys' fan base.
Yeah,
just
it's
just
beautiful. This
stuff.
is like the best swag. I love this.
Hell
I want
yeah.
to make sure this is a coaster, right?
Yes,
Okay, good.
I'm going to be doing patches. Jason and I talked about doing some patches. They'll be smaller than that. Patches, the hat patch is about 2.5 inches there. I'm going to be doing some square stuff with Galaxy Heads and Forgotten Ruin. So, yeah, cool stuff is kind of in the pipelines right now.
Yeah, look how badass that map is. I'm having that framed, and I'm actually going to put it in my living room. It's going to be pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah,
Thank
that's pretty dope.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, for sure. It was my pleasure to get that to you.
I use the journal to make a list of awful things I want to do to James M. Ward.
Well, I guess that's fair.
Do I need to send you another
Yes.
insert for it? All right.
Yes, this one is getting full.
Gotcha.
All right, so you guys decide to start moving forward. You're at the very outskirts of the temple complex. Things are starting to get a little sandy. There's the broken battlements and like not siege towers, but defensive towers and stuff like that all around you. You guys, of course, came in from these lower sections, which were from the sunken necropolis. Where do you go? Do you just continue? It's another couple hundred meters into the temple. You can see the giant cobra-headed tower off in the distance.
Great.
Do you guys run that way, or what are you guys doing?
I nominate Benny.
I am no. I am subtly shifting behind the three mages to protect their backs.
Backstab. Before we go, everyone that was here yesterday was I want to do a quick binding wounds with my first aid kit.
Okay.
Wait, how injured are you?
I'm at 14. I lost 5.
Yeah, you and
lost
Crowley
some.
got jacked.
No,
Yeah.
I didn't get hit. I got hit for like 3.
Well, I'm gonna bind your wounds and see what happens.
I'm only 1 life down now, though.
Let me use that tighter belt and see how we can get that wound cured.
Let's see, we got
Stop
that
the
tighter
blood
belt.
flow.
We got Benny's whip.
Stop flirting with me.
Yeah, that's Benny's whip. Nobody else's whip.
So to use the first aid kit, I roll a d6, correct?
Yep, and then cut it in half.
All right. I got a 4, so he gets 2 points back.
Wait,
Okay.
you're healing me?
I know you're gonna probably kill me. You've tried several times.
Why?
For me,
Okay, you healed me for 2, which heals 1 health point that I'm missing.
all right, and for me, I got a 5.
I
so I
appreciate
guess
it.
2.5, 2. I get 2 back.
Okay. All right. So you guys move forward. JR, do you have your glasses on?
I do.
All right.
I do.
Anybody with those special glasses, you start seeing spirits walking in and around the fort. They look like they were in armor at one point. It looks like the normal goings on of people on guard, but it seems to be they're trapped in a ghostly essence of repetition, kind of like you're watching a scene play out. They don't seem to be interacting with you, but they are kind of moving about and you know, you can pass through them, you can walk around them, but they don't seem to be noticing you at all. What do you guys do?
Do they appear sentient, or is it just like a time loop almost?
They're not reacting to you, but nothing's repeating.
Okay. What does Richardson see with his special ghost armor?
The same thing. He's noticing that all of these things are just spirits that are moving in and around. They look like they're on standard guard duty. Um, After a little while, both Crowley and Richardson hear, "Oh, well, this is new." And one of the ghosts turns and walks over and kind of addresses you both. And he says, "The lords of Fang and Fog bid you good day. What is your business here with them?"
I pretend I can't hear him.
Richardson doing the same?
Yeah, I'll follow his lead. He has a little bit more experience with these ghostly apparitions.
No, go for it. You can talk to him. I'm just tired of them.
I will find you, Rothman. I will.
So he takes his fingers, and then everybody hears a whistle from nowhere. And suddenly all of these ghosts appear, and they all stop what they're doing and turn to face you. And he says,
Captain,
"Who may I negotiate with?"
we shove Rock Powers forward. He trips over his feet a little bit. He wasn't expecting that, but we just throw him to the wolves.
I love that idea.
As you go to reach for Rock Powers, you get part of the cloak in your chest, and as it touches you, you get the sensation of
Logan's gonna whip JR's ass.
Does anybody go forward to negotiate with him?
Now remember, that cloak had a relationship with JR. JR was the cloak's bitch. But
Yeah, really.
I will step forward as the captain and
I'm just a mere
doff my pirate hat and do my best bow and stick my leg out and then once all that's done, I'll take a drink of super whiskey.
and sing something from Pirates of Penzance.
I'm a very modern major member of a modern general.
That's close. That's very close.
And he says, "My lords bid you good day. They want to know what brings you to them, to their doorstep, to the front of the temple. What has you in their sights this day?"
Well, I'm not drunk enough to lie to you yet, so I'm going to be completely honest. I'm here to break all your stuff and take all your treasure.
I see. I will pass this along. And then he disappears.
Thank you.
As like one by one the ghosts disappear, you're left with a woman in plate armor. She's kneeling in the sand holding a very almost like a wide bladed two-handed sword. She's got like kind of like those Spartan helmets with the T-shaped visor, but it's totally blacked out, and the only thing you can see are her red eyes beyond.
Is this a ghost woman or a real?
It looks like serious like armor. She's got swept forward horns on the helmet. She's wearing what looks like a fur-lined cloak. She stands. And as she stands, from the sand, people who are dressed similarly, like crawl themselves out from the sand. And she walks forward. She stabs the sword into the dirt, and then as she removes the helmet, it is the strangest thing you've ever seen. She's wearing what looks like face paint. She's got two red streaks coming down from her eyes, almost like tears. The face paint is mostly flesh toned, but her skin beyond it, like, and it's only like the front ahead of the jaw, right? Everything beyond that, like the rest of her face, her ears, down her neck, and stuff like that, the skin is translucent. You can see it. There's some sort of skin there holding everything together, but you can see through it, and underneath is her skeleton.
Excellent.
So the face paint is kind of highlighting the features, making her appear normal. But as you see from like here back, you can see the entire jaw, the hinge of the jaw, all of her teeth. The fangs behind those are wicked.
Like
More like
Wicked Shot.
more like shark teeth than anything else. She holds her helmet and she says, "I'm introducing myself as commander of the Skelvos. I am here to tell you your challenge has been answered.
All right.
Shall we negotiate terms?"
Rules? We
No.
don't need no stinking rules.
Work
Do
your
you-
masculine charms on her, Captain.
Do you say that out loud?
Me?
No, does
No.
James say that out loud?
Big Benny.
Yeah.
I know a little Benny, but yeah.
I don't dare say it out loud.
I was gonna say, Benny, isn't it your turn to attack now or something?
I will be attacking in any second, but right now I'm protecting the backs of the wizards.
Benny,
I-
be quiet. We're trying to get
step
baby
forward.
skeletons.
I step forward and I say, I accept your challenge to a duel with me.
She says, "A duel."
A duel.
She
If you, will,
says,
if you will give me satisfaction, your face is so beautiful and your body is quite excellent to behold. I will pass on the obligatory slap to your face. So let it just be a verbal challenge. You and I shall tussle around.
as you say that, the cloak goes, "Oh crap!"
He lied earlier. What he said.
The nearest shadows.
What's that, Deb?
I discreetly step into the nearest shadows.
Okay.
I
She
had that on my
says,
mustache.
she
And
says,
I'm speaking grandly and with much flourish so that everybody can be busy about doing the shit that's going to help me. I'm drawing fire.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna sidestep into some concealment.
so she says, "I like the idea of a duel, 1-on-1. That way,
One-on-one.
neither of our people are injured unduly."
Oh no,
She's-
I'm going to kill them next.
Oh, I like you. She kind of turns on her heel and walks away a few steps back toward the sword that she has. Yeah, as she does, she's got like her hair is shot white, and it's braided to her hair and and to her head and kind of like cornrows until it like descends down her back. She tussles that back up and puts on a helmet and whistles, and all of her men stand up and slap their spears against their shields.
I drink all my super whiskey.
Oh, God.
And you hear the cloak in your head. "Oh yeah, way to dull things. This is gonna go well." He says, "I was just about to tell you, this is the premier mercenary force of the undead."
I know.
So
Would you like to participate in the battle and be of use?
He says, "Oh, don't you threaten me with a good time like that."
Here's how
so
I'm going to employ you. I'm going to employ you as a distraction, my left hand. Be ready to do your magic once you get a hold of her.
He says, we could always do that thing we did a couple of days ago, and you could always let me drive for a minute."
All right, let's do it.
He says,
what?
this still could go bad for us, but we might have a better chance if I'm at the wheel.
Well, anytime somebody wants to do some voodoo, I'm game. So let's just see what you can do.
Let's throw some protection spells on our leader.
While he's doing that, I'm gonna sort of step so my back is to the undead mercenary lady, so she can't see me, and I'm going to touch his sword with acid splash so it does more damage.
I love that.
That's not going to work for you. So
It isn't?
you know it's not going to work for you.
Okay.
I grab a hold of the pommel of my Hebrew hammer and activate.
Okay. So as you do that, the mercenary raises her hand, and she's like, "Duel implies 1-on-1, correct?
Correct.
Just getting things down."
Well, if that's how you want to spend your last few minutes.
All right. I cast protection from evil on him.
There we go. That's what I'm talking about.
There you go. Okay.
I do deep knee bends.
Getting ready to assume the position, sir.
Are there any? Is there any vegetation nearby that?
Oh
I
yeah,
can
tons.
Talk to help out.
So You got
You mean
all
like
of this
tell
vegetation all
the
over
plants
the
to
place.
be like, really increase your pollen. Maybe she'll calm.
Or I was thinking more along the lines of entangle her feet.
Well, okay, you could do that.
Yeah. What about bark skin for our leader, mages? Let's get some spells on this boy.
What do you know about magic, little man?
You'd be
the-
amazed at what I know.
More than I know about it.
the mage manager, Karen. She kind of like shakes her head and she says, "Is it a duel or are we all helping? We're just trying to get this passed."
I'm
no,
gonna
just
turn
one-on-one.
around to her while I'm doing the hammy stretch where you put one in your gap, and I'm like, mostly you should be helping.
Fine. She walks up to you and she goes, "This is going to hurt you more than it's going to hurt me." And then
That's
she
okay, super whiskey.
she boops your nose. And as she walks away, you don't notice it, but your friends notice your skin taking on a gray pallor with grainy consistency.
I love when that happens. All right.
In the chat, there's a prediction about whether Nick's character survives this fight.
All right, so she picks up the sword, and she like flicks it outward, and the sword rotates on itself so that the handle becomes almost like a staff handle, but it's maybe 10, 11 inches long. And beyond it are two blades of the sword.
I would like to execute one of my duelist special abilities.
Which one?
Appraise weapon of quality.
Okay. So you have to roll a 1d6 for that, I believe.
The duelist has the ability to judge on weapon quality. They may identify such weapons by rolling 2 on a d6. Every 2 levels, the chance to goes up. Detect by 1. We're playing with our kind of first Forgotten Ruin class, which is the duelist.
All right, go for it.
We rolled a 1 with the corpse reviver dice.
Excellent. And you kind of gauge that this is a very balanced, probably magical weapon, but its area of vulnerability is going to be the handle.
Aha. I
right.
tell Clokey that. Clokey, I think the handle might be our gig.
He says, "All right." He goes, "Hold on to your shorts. This is where it gets weird." The hood itself wraps around your face and then pulls tight, almost as if it's trying to strangle you. You can feel
superhero bitches.
Your friends watch the cloak kind of like mummify you, and then it explodes in like a torrent, almost like a maelstrom of shredded fabric and like swirling dust in the sand. As the fabric kind of reassembles itself, Nick has grown at least a foot. His head is a skull that's on fire, and he has large black feathered wings. He's wearing armor consistent of like plate armor with this huge eagle spreading across the chest. The eagle symbol is ghostly, and it looks like it's in a perpetual scream. There are minor motions, like in a horror movie, when something's twitching very fast, of the eagle moving about. His hands are taloned, and in his left hand, he's got a shield that he draws a. It looks like a short sword, almost reminiscent of like a spike on a handle. And when he talks, his voice sounds like 100 people whispering in different languages, so that everybody who speaks something hears in their own language.
Wow, that's cool.
Roll for initiative.
D20?
Yep. She gets a 16.
I get a 9.
The cloak in your head goes, crap. She throws the sword. The double-bladed two-handed sword eats up a lot of real estate really fast. Geez. She scores a 20.
Oh, shit. Of course she does.
And all right, so Nick, right now you're at 35 hit points.
Yeah.
You lose 12 of them as the sword like hits and blows you into one of those structures, knocking you through a wall.
Okay, cool.
Your tumble stops by the wings slamming into the ground and acting as pylons, keeping you from moving backwards.
Okay.
Are anybody else doing anything?
I've got my. I'm talking to the weeds and to the plants, trying to unwrap her legs so it hinders her movement.
All right, so you're commanding them to hinder?
Yeah.
right.
I'm not doing it. It's the plants. I don't know what you're doing.
All right. That brings you to you, Nick. What are you doing? You have the ability to cross the distance very quickly with those wings. You have spell-like ability, and you can twice per day while doing this breathe fire.
Okay.
Whoa.
I'm going to use the wings to move fast and execute a sweep with the duelist ability.
All right, go for it.
I'm going to pay her back for putting me on my ass. The duelist is a master of balance, both his own and the opponent's. At the beginning of the round, the duelist must declare he is sweeping his opponent. On a successful attack, the opponent must make a saving throw or be thrown to her feet. So now I'm going to attack.
Thrown to her feet?
Yeah, you can't be thrown to her feet.
Maybe it's a typo. Don't get weird.
I'm going to move fast and roll a 4.
Maybe you moved too fast there, buddy.
She is going to jump over you, kind of like dodging it.
Mm-hmm.
She tries to counterattack where she leans back, looking to grab the hood. You can feel she's got talons of her own, and you can feel the talons like skipping across your skull. But she doesn't manage to grab hold, and she lands on the other side. As she lands, the roots and vines take hold of her feet. And she kind of looks down and then immediately looks to you, Booger. She screams out betrayal.
Oh, no.
And you see all of the warriors drop their spears.
Oh, crap.
Can I try to tell them to stop? Very politely. I don't yell it at them, but I'm like, hey, can you guys not do that? To all the undead.
And I'll try to back him up with my armor's little.
You're both doing it at the same time? Oh, that's going to be hard on them. A third of the warriors kneel.
Yay.
A third. Leaving the 56 for us to handle.
Well, what do you want from me? I just took out a third of their army.
I whisper, I get up close in her ear as I pass by and say, never mind the noise, it's just me and you.
Like you do. All right. All right. So anybody else doing anything this action?
I am going to take a shot to my spear gun.
Really?
Yeah. And give our captain a little bit of fire support.
All right. Who are you shooting at? One of the warriors or?
Her. The big warrior that
Uh-oh.
dancing with. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's on. I mean,
Yeah, it's on.
You're about to be demoted in rank for doing something stupid.
I'm out of the Air Force anyway. I quit.
There we go.
I rolled a natural 18.
Wow,
All right.
well done.
1d8 plus 1.
1d8. That's a 1.
That sucks.
All right. It
right.
kind of like she's sitting there and she's got the big blade backwards and she's got her hand up getting ready to charge him again, and the arrow pierces what would have been behind her ear and sticks out the front, or the spear rather, and sticks out the front of her helmet, and she just does that thing like, really,
Really?
and then she looks back to Nick. Anybody else doing anything before?
I will,
Is it-
because I used my talk to plants last round, so I assume I have a turn, right?
Yep.
Is that true? Okay.
Oh.
So I was going to go ahead and use my sickle, since I'll keep some distance, from the lady. So I'll aim and throw one of the sickles at her.
Wow.
Go ahead.
I Got a 15. Is that good
15.
enough?
Yes, you just barely hit her.
All right. And what do I roll?
Its damage is 1d6, plus obviously the extra damage of the weapon.
So I got a 5 plus 2. Then.
Yep, 7. All right.
Are there any dudes attacking the back of the wizards?
Not yet.
Remember,
Okay.
we've got those vials of water. So
Benny, you're doing an excellent job.
So
I'm gonna-
hold on. The blade bites into her shoulder pauldron. She uses the sword and kind of smacks it, and as it does, it starts to fall to the ground. It quivers and then immediately catches flight and returns back to your hand.
Hooray!
Excellent. All right. Anybody else, real quick, before we go into like regular round?
Would I have been able to get into a position where I could use my backstab ability?
To her, no. To some of her men, yes.
Okay, is there an obvious potential second in command type that I would be able to get in position on?
Not that you need.
Okay.
Not that you can see. Excuse me.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take a whack at one of her little minions.
All right. So you kind of like slither over to one of the walls. Give me a roll of 1d6, please.
A 2.
That's very good. Okay, so you're kind of like slinking along in the shadows, kind of like that cat on the back of the chair. It's kind of cool. And then hopefully nobody grabs you like they just grabbed the cat. And then you get right behind the dude. They have an AC of 3.
Okay.
All right, so you're gonna need a 14 to hit. 14 or higher.
Okay. So I'm rolling my d20, my base hit bonus plus my 2 for my backstab, right?
Yep.
Nat 20. Does that do anything for me?
I'm sorry, you broke up a little bit. What was that?
Does a nat 20 do anything for me?
Oh God. Yep.
Oh boy.
So go ahead and roll a roll 2d10. See, Nick got lucky when he got hit by the natural 20 because she just got double damage.
Triple damage.
2d10.
If he's backstabbing, he does double damage normally.
So quadruple damage?
It could, if he depends on what he gets when he rolls.
And that's in my my unofficial Forbidden Ruin.
Yeah.
Nice.
That would be 10 and 8, so 18.
So you're rolling d6?
Yeah, 2d10.
2d10? Oh, for the percentage. What was it? An 18?
Yeah, 18.
18. Oh God. All right, roll the d6 for the weapon.
Which is 2.
All right. Even with the 2, you come up, pull the helmet back, and run the blade in between what would be his neck and shoulder, kind of like pushing back and forth to shred the top of the lung.
Okay.
It's weird because as you pull back and like kind of like the armored cloth underneath separates, you can see this thing has skin. You just can't see it. It's like there's an outline of it there, but you can definitely see the skeleton beneath. And as you cut into this thing, like regular blood becomes visible, and it's kind of like sticking food coloring in a bag of water, like in a plastic bag full of water. It like starts to permeate all the flesh and like cut into it, and he drops to the ground like holding his neck.
How many troops are there total?
You can see at least 12 throughout the trees. You don't know if there's more hiding behind the walls.
Is 12 inclusive of the ones standing or total?
12 is the one still standing. Of the third, you're probably thinking of like maybe another 6 that had kneeled down. they're not doing anything.
Yeah.
And then there's out of that 12, one of them, it looks like a shadow just came in and totally messed it up. It dropped to the ground choking.
Excellent.
All right, so we're going to go to the top of the batting order. It's going to start with her.
Hold on, I didn't get my move last time.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to take my mermaid dagger, turn it into a net, and get to the closest group of the ghosts and see if I can grab them with the net.
Oh, these aren't ghosts, buddy. These are like real flesh and blood, like armored dudes.
Well, even better.
All right, so you're gonna throw a net over them.
Yep.
Roll 8 hit roll. You need to get for you,
Okay.
I believe it's 15 or higher.
I got a 19 with a 20 with my base hit bonus.
All right, and they're going to try and save. All right, so you managed to tangle 3 of them in the net.
Good job.
All
What
right.
about the wizards and the cleric? Are they just sitting there with their thumbs up their butts?
The cleric appears to be drawing something in the sand, and the wizards are the 2 of them are moving out like to the flanks, and they appear to be doing something. And the Karen lady, she's just standing there.
I'm guarding her.
She goes, by the way, this whole guard thing. She goes, we'll cut some favors off the top.
Hey, thanks, babe.
She goes, call me babe again, and I'll transform you into something even smaller than you are.
Yeah, okay, fine.
She, so the mercenary comes at you again, Nick. As she does, she swings the blade and strikes you. You kind of like there's this huge flap of your wings as you take flight to kind of evade the shot and kind of come down behind her. She swings one way, and as you come to land, she embeds the kind of like slices through the side of your leg for another 4 points.
Ouch. Clearly, he doesn't swing that way.
She does. Chaos Actual, you're up. You have magic,
Let's
you
go
have fire,
ahead.
you have attacks.
Yeah, let's go ahead and breathe fire on her.
All right. Go ahead and oh, this is a saving throw. Hold on one second. Ooh. All right. So you're sitting there and you're just like, in your head, you're like, all right, let's see this fire trick. And he's like, personal fave, I like where your head's at. He goes, but you're not going to like where my head's at in a minute. The skull, like you see the like kind of like that twitching eagle on its chest. It ignites in flame across his chest, kind of like, and all of his wings ignite in fire. The skull opens up, and as it does, it splits, and you can see like a demon head underneath, totally encased in fire. And he breathes this huge gout of flame. As he does, the flame trickles off of his wings and from the phoenix in the front and out of his mouth. She's engulfed in a torrent of fire. When it ceases, the ground around her is made of glass. Nick, roll 3d6.
3d6. She's going to take 4, 6, and 2. 12.
Her armor is black and burning. Her hair is on fire. You can see parts of like the flesh that you can see through the armor is burnt and so that it looks like real burnt flesh. It's no longer translucent. She grits her, like you can hear the growl of somebody in obvious pain. She looks extremely hurt, but not down yet. All right, that brings us to Big Benny. What are you doing?
Big Benny is continuing to watch the back of our wizard.
All right, nothing coming up yet. J Mac.
Is it still a one-on-one duel with Nick and Undead Lady?
No.
Or are we?
No, it's on.
You don't think so? The troops that are still active are starting to move.
Okay, I want to attack her. I want to use the obsidian short sword I have and try and either cut off her hand or like try and get the handle of the weapon she has.
Okay. Go for it. Her AC is 0.
I rolled a 17.
Oh yeah, with
Good
your bonuses,
job.
you get that. All right, and you're using an obsidian dagger, or are you using an obsidian
don't-
sword?
So one of the short swords. I don't have the daggers. I just have the sword.
All right, go ahead and roll.
What's the damage on that?
1d6.
5.
All right, and now she's going to also be bleeding. All right, so you run in and kind of like slide across a knee and hamstring her. It looks like the armor holds to the back of her. The greaves and the shin guards she's wearing. They wrap around to the back to protect that area. But as you hit the armor, the blade kind of skips, and you puncture right behind what would be her knee. She does not look like she's in a good state. That brings us to JR.
Because I'm close enough to throw it, I'm taking off my magic belt, getting close enough to wrap it around them. Can I fit all 3 or just one of them?
Just one.
I wrap it around his middle and say, "Tighter, Daddy."
And he says, "More."
Yeah, right. Way to make it weird. You go to one of them and get the put the belt on him.
Yes, sir.
All right. So you were you wearing the belt?
I had it on me. I had it in my hand still from the checking it.
All right. So as you go to like wrap it around, the what do you call it? That the thing starts animating. The leather starts becoming almost like scales and segments, and as you let it go, it wraps around him very, very quickly. And you're just like tighter, and the thing starts strangling him. Even though these things are technically undead, it starts reaching for its neck, trying to uncoil the thing, which is very, very difficult due to the net. That goes to Booger.
I am activating the Hebrew hammer and going after our MC on the other end, the
All right,
lady.
so you're going after her?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And I get a 19. I think that hits, hopefully.
Yep.
Is that 2d6?
Yep. No, yours is 2d4.
2d4, okay. All right, well.
And, yep, go ahead.
Let me roll that again. I got a
Do you
5.
do you have a strength, Benny, or anything like that?
I don't think so.
These didn't get identified, so you slam into her. As you're swinging the hammer, it kind of drags a whirlwind of force behind it, throwing sand and stuff like that in its wake. It cracks the glass all the way around her feet from where Nick basically turned the area around her nuclear. You slam her in the back, and the front and her spine comes out her front. She slaps into the sand and is not moving. That brings us to Bren.
Sprinkle some holy water on her.
For my vantage point, is she still moving?
She is not moving.
Okay, I'm going to reload my spear gun and take a shot at one of the undead soldiers, assuming
Go
they're
for it.
advancing on us. And that's just a 10 with my preferred weapon. That is okay. That's a 16, I think. Right
16.
Yep.
You did hit. Yep. Go ahead.
1D. Really? Okay, that's a 2.
All right, you
Actually,
catch.
wait a minute. I get a bonus with my preferred weapon, right?
Yes.
On damage. So I'm level 4 or 5.
You're level 5.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
there we go. Ted's back.
There he is.
So that is 1, 2. That's a 5, then, right?
Okay. right, on that one. Got it. Oh, and Ted's gone. Damn it! And he's back. All right, so that brings us to Richardson.
All right. Out of the group of the supporting undead, are any of them grouped up besides the ones that we
Netted.
Well, besides the ones that we taught or told to kneel down?
Yeah, a couple of them.
All right. I would like to put some suppressive fire in their direction.
Oh, so you're breaking out a boomstick.
Yes.
All right.
Rock and roll.
Knock it down. What are you using?
The MK18.
Okay.
It is
Tell me what you get. And you're doing this as suppressive fire?
Yes.
Okay. Yep.
I got a 21.
All right. What's the damage?
2d6 base damage.
Okay. So Yep. Go ahead. Give me damage. Because they saved. They're going to take half.
7.
All right. So you start pinging off their armor. They raise their shields and then drop down behind some cover of the walls. They look like they're still in it to fight. These guys look like they're up to do some damage. That brings us to them.
Did Ted get his turn?
Ted, would you like to act again now that you're back?
You're muted, Boomer.
Hold on.
Oh, I didn't do anything either.
Okay, hold on. Let's let Ted go, and then Chaos Actual, you're up.
Yes, I just kill everybody. That's not my problem.
You're gonna go for another one?
Yeah, whoever's closest to me. So, how many people saw me do this? How many of the baddies actually saw me?
Nobody.
All right,
just
so
that good.
I am that good. So, am I able to do it to the next guy in line?
Yep. You can sneak over to the next guy
With a 17.
Go ahead and give me damage, and then whatever you get, double it.
Am I just rolling the 1d6 this time because it was not a crit? Is that?
Oh no, you're doubling it.
6 total.
All right, he is. All right, and it's the same thing. This time, you grab the plume of his helmet and come under his neck, and then drop forward on your weight, driving it under the soft palate, and you can hear him choking, and then his body goes limp.
Nice.
Rock Powers.
Rock Powers sees her go down. Her spine comes out her back. He sweeps up her sword with his lightning rapid attack, hacks off her head, raises it up at her other people, and screams, "Hakuna Matata, bitches!"
Oh, somebody else is collecting heads now, huh?
Only
right.
the baddies.
So the what do you call it? All right, so that's nasty. They're going to start attacking. First things first.
What the wizards and the cleric do?
You don't know.
Okay.
The cleric is obviously doing something. Karen is just like ignoring. It appears as though she's standing there. And then the two guys in the back are kind of they're doing something. It looks like they're gesturing or they're doing something. You don't see the effect of what they're doing, but it looks like they're busy kind of trying to create some effect.
All right.
These two soldiers here lunge forward and they attack Matt Damon.
Well, Matt Damon's got this. He can take care of himself.
They tackle him to the ground and
What?
With what look like maces start breaking his limbs.
Matt Damon, no.
I have
We're
a
totally collecting this after
quick
the
question
battle.
about my armor.
Yes, sir.
Is there any benefit to it that I can use it to augment Matt Damon?
Not really. It gives you the ability to hear and command undead, but you can't you can't like Pokemon like evolutionize them or anything like that.
Okay, never watched
Why
that.
do you
but
say
okay.
Pokemon? Because I pictured the cleric drawing Pikachu in the same.
That's probably what he's doing.
Maybe.
The one of them throws his spear at Rock Powers, and it flies past him because Rock is got a crazy armor class right now.
Yeah.
Another one throws at Booger. Booger, that you take a spear. It flies through the trees in like a weird arc, and kind of like you see it coming, so you kind of dodge out of the way, and it catches you across your chest, kind of slicing on the way through, and that's for 6 points. Let's see, and last but not least, Benny, give me a roll on a d6, please.
Yes, sir. I got an amazing 4.
Okay. You get the sensation that somebody is sneaking up behind you.
Well, being a thief, I should be able to spot something like that. But
That's-
I warn the wizardress, someone's coming behind us invisibly. Do what you do.
She's like, "Oh, that's very kind of you, thinking of my well-being. Maybe you're not so bad."
Maybe.
She says, "The whole time we've been standing here, we've also been guarding you." You hear like a heavy click. A symbol starts tracing itself in fire on the ground, catching the grass and turning the sand to glass. You see one of those ghouls become like with its translucent skin become visible, so that you can see its skeleton. It was wrapped in like a sash with a huge dagger in its hand. As the symbol completes itself in drawing, it explodes. When it stops, the thing just is like burned to a crisp, and it falls over as like a dead sack of flesh in the middle of the sand.
Well done.
The cleric finishes what he's doing, and you feel like a heavy breeze. That's all it feels like, is like the wind picks up for a minute, and it passes over the grove, and all of the kind of like these ghoulish warriors, they stand up and try to run. You guys doing anything?
I'm continuing to guard.
Are the ones that are in my nets running, or are they?
They're trying to get away frantically, but they're stuck.
I'm gonna stab them with my silver dagger and see if I can kill it.
Stabby, stabby.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and try to stab one with my dagger, just because.
All right.
They're helpless, aren't they?
Holy wow.
They're caught. Yeah.
Aren't those automatic hits then?
20. No, not necessarily, because it's not like they're not tied to an object. They're under a net, so there is some motion.
Okay.
20. Give me a percentage.
The tack nuke is going off.
No, he was using a dagger.
Of course, I use my dagger.
But you guys are way too close for that.
51.
Yeah, and because this is a GE show, we don't say tack nuke, we say
Trigger nuke.
Trigger nuke.
Oh, my bad.
That's not very friendly.
Just get down and do 50. Just get down and do
It's
50.
an unaliving nuke.
And speaking of the premier property of science fiction, did you want to talk about Galaxy's Edge real quick?
I do. I think it's really rolling with the latest Legacies release. We've got some really cool stuff planned. We're getting ready to ship our commemorative ammo cans for people who went in on that. That is a project I will be working on this week. Literally doing manual labor, but the GE audience is a lot of fun, and they started right there at Galaxy's Edge Legionnaire. If you haven't dropped in, just go check that book out. You will be hooked. I think it's a really great premier science fiction series. If you like Space Marine, if you like Star Wars kind of type storytelling, you can see that's what you're going to get there. But nothing is woke.
No
woke. So
They
you'll
also-
dig it. It's fun.
The entire story is told while sleeping.
Yeah. And if you have any woke people in your office that are giving you a hard time, just when they're out to lunch, go over their computer and look up QAnon stuff.
And in addition to the Legacies just dropping, there's the Order of the Centurion box set, which has all
That's
5
right.
of them
Yes,
for
the
a
Order of the
steal of a
Centurion
price.
box set is out there, and you can pick up I think it's like 6 novels for cheap.
Yeah.
I think somebody else has a book out this week.
We'll
I
talk
don't
about that
know.
later. Don't get weird. All right.
I'm
So
doing the PR thing, which is
you
always
finish
weird.
off. You finish off the.
Walt, it's not a book of how to pick up dog moms, is it?
You need. So you need a monkey for that. That is one of my original Spanish speaking dogs.
Yes.
And if I can find that picture real quick, I'll put that up. Yeah, that is a surefire way, and I should definitely write that book.
You can close dog moms left and right with a monkey dog.
Dude, you have no idea. Okay, so as you guys are kind of like finishing off the guys in the net, one of them is like, Parlay, listen, I want a deal.
Nope.
Probably
I
with
told
an
you I'd
undead.
kill you all. You're all dead.
He goes, we're dead anyway, so
All right.
deal.
Give up something. Give up something.
Hey!
Hey, there she is.
Hey! In a uniform, no less.
Somebody said it doesn't work.
Give up something really good right now, or you all die.
He says, I don't care about them. I care about me.
All right. 3.
He says, no. He starts talking. He says, I know a way into the temple.
All right. We won't kill you. Anybody else?
And I said,
And as they're about to open their mouths, they're all kind of like close quarters under the net. He like pulls out what looks like 2 spikes from his armor and sheaves his buddies.
Oh, nice. That's a
I like
pro.
this guy.
He says, I can be of use. He goes, and like any good mercenary, I go where the money is. And the money right now, the currency is my life. You let me live, I'll bring you to the temple.
Funny
Okay.
he should say live.
You're on probation. I like the cut of your jib. I like how you dealt with your personnel issues. I see that as a 4 on an OER, but it could have been a 5 with the right officer. So we'll go with that. What does this chick's sword do that's now mine?
He says, it's and it is ensorcelled. It is a thing of magic. You can use it either as a single sword or commanding it. It will actually duplicate itself into that weird staff thing.
Ooh.
And it flies. You can throw it. It flies like a circular saw.
Badass. This is mine. I take her scabbard and strap it on.
And he says, I wasn't aware that any of you were working for the Lords of Fang and Fog. Is this a coup?
No, this is a hostile takeover.
And then you hear in your head, Nick, busted. He says, I'm more than happy to lead you into the temple. I would also ask that if I be given my weapons, I can assist you.
What? We just saved your life, and now you're asking for benefits.
He says there are benefits to a Skelvos warrior working for you.
A Skelvos warrior. Okay. I don't know. I'll put it to a vote.
I think kill him.
Watch out for the gnome. Not only is he lazy and shifty, he's murderous.
He says,
Like, don't give him any weapons.
so he removes his helmet,
Uh-huh.
and unlike his master that had face paint on to make her look normal,
Right.
he doesn't have any of that.
Oh, cool.
He's just got the skull, but
give
the teeth are like something out of Alien,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
And he's like, if you want, I can eat him.
Ooh.
You could try.
You're like an appetizer, man.
I'm going to police up
I
the
might
gear
take
off
you
the
up
bed.
on that. That'll knock you up to a 5 on the OER.
He says, I don't know what this OER is, but I really want good scores.
You want good scores. It's a mythical system by which your fate is determined.
Right. I'm checking the dead babe for rings, bracelets,
No.
amulets.
You had nothing to do with that. That's mine.
Okay, no, you're busy talking to the dude. I'm over by the dead babe.
And now I have shouted at you, and you must obey.
Okay,
I'm right there too, though, and I'm
checking rings. I'm checking her toes. I'm checking her arms and her amulets.
I'm interested in her helmet and her cloak.
So Magic Karen walks over and she's like, "Do we need to do this again?"
Yes.
Identify.
Do what again? If anything I
Identify.
find, I'm giving to you.
She says, "I can identify all the items that she's carrying,
Uh-huh.
but somebody's going to have to pay the price for that."
Yeah, I just grab her helmet and put it on my head. I'm like, I don't care.
She
Oh,
already
my
paid
goodness.
the price.
What's that, Ted?
She already paid the price.
Yeah, really.
J-Mac, it smells like regret and bacon.
I take it off and wipe the excess face paint that's all over the inside out, and I'm like, oh,
Uh-huh.
okay, and then put it back on.
You don't. There's no sense of like mysticism or anything that you get by wearing it.
No, it just looks badass.
It does look badass.
Yeah.
Magic Karen says the cloak is nothing. There are no mystical rings on her hands. However, there is a magic ring on her toe.
Of course.
I do want the cloak still, though, because, again, it just looks cool.
It does look cool. It's all black with red interior, and then there's
goes with my
Yep.
red armor so well.
There's like a furred lining on the top. But yeah,
I'm not clear on what Magic Karen's deal is. Did that happen last week?
That
no,
happened right before we started.
Magic Karen came over with the with Admiral
Okay.
Adana's group.
Yeah.
And
Right.
She's with you.
And yeah, she's with you.
Okay. Okay. Well,
And-
then I should be clear on that then.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
What'd you
Little
do
less
to her?
super whiskey.
So, would she find the ring useful?
She goes, I wouldn't. They might. And she like indicates to her two lackeys.
Okay, what does it do?
She goes, "Do I have to say anything?" And they
Yes.
they start scurrying over.
Oh,
and,
that's
removing
funny.
The boot.
That's very funny.
The guy like starts flipping pages, and he's like, it looks like it will regenerate dead flesh."
Ooh.
Oh, cool. I'll put it on, and I owe her another favor.
So as you start taking it off, you feel the undead commander's foot twitch.
Okay. I'll cut off the foot.
Okay.
I mean, if you think about it, regenerating dead flesh really only helps the undead, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, sometimes you get killed in this game.
Wait,
I don't know if you've noticed.
you cut off her foot because you couldn't get her head? Is that what's going on?
No, I cut off her foot because it looked like it was becoming alive, and I didn't want you guys hurt anymore.
No, because if you
could
cut
just
off
say
her
Matt
foot,
Damien instead.
I walk over to the two henchmen and I say, "Impress your master and tell me about the sword."
Okay, so
Come on, snap, snap.
he's like, "I'm
Chop,
snapping, I'm snapping," and he shows you the command word.
Yeah.
It's just under the pommel,
Okay.
and he says, "Okay, so the and he's trying to lift it, but it's really heavy, and he's very, very Bryce Michael Christopher.
Oh. So heavy.
He's just like, all right, so we we do this, and the blade shimmers for a minute, and then it's like if you're just looking at it from this way, another blade just slides out from under it.
Ooh.
And it becomes it like goes Darth Maul like and snaps together as though it was always like that.
All right.
And then he drops it because it's too heavy for him.
Is it +1, +2, +17?
It is not. It is a +3 weapon.
Ooh.
Well, that's cool.
It flies and returns to its owner,
All right.
and then of course can become double bladed like that.
I shall call it Gemini.
Nice.
I ask about my Hebrew hammer.
You're gonna owe her a favor.
She says that that is impressive, but that we will have to deal with when we are not being observed. And she points to where all of those people are, and there is a skull just laying on the sand a little ways away.
I can give that skull a little tap.
Did I find anything on the ones that I killed?
Just spears and shields. They appear normal.
How's Matt Damon doing?
He is not good. He's laying on the ground, like he keeps trying to sit up, but they smashed the hell out of him.
Oh, the poor guy.
What if you put the ring of dead regeneration on him?
Yeah, okay. It's my ring, just like it's your sword, but I will be happy to give a loan to Matt for a whole day till he's repaired.
Wow, you do that for Matt Damon?
Sure.
This is like, this is a character arc for you.
Don't look the gift gnome in the mouth, buddy. Just take it and make it work.
Is this making up for shooting him before?
Ted, what are you doing? Are you doing anything?
So everybody all the baddies have kind of fled, right?
Except for one that appears to be like helping you guys.
Right? Okay.
Becoming an ally.
I kind of keeping a watch, maybe 20, 30 yards in the direction that they went, keeping a watch, make sure they're not regrouping or kind of keeping an eye where they're going.
That's smart.
I walk over to Karen and I ask her if when this endeavor is done, might she leave one of her more senior mages to train me?
She says, "What do you need me for when you have a mage on your boat?"
But I'm not on my boat. I am here.
Oh, there we go.
Land.
Good answer.
So are you saying that you want to be one of my apprentices as well? And then she
do it.
She pulls out a book and she plants it onto the center of your chest, and she's just like, "Here is a pen. Here's a quill. Here's some ink. Get to writing, boy."
Do it.
She goes, "Catalog. Do what you do. Let's go."
All right, you put that nastiness down, Rothman. I'll start doing that.
All right.
You start following her with her other two mages.
For now.
She instructs one of them, if you are a good boy all day, to give you another spell for your book.
Cool.
Outstanding.
I hope it's identify.
All right. So, but she keeps pointing out. She's like, "So is anybody going to do anything about that?" And she keeps pointing out this skull that's
I'll happily take care of it, and I walk over there.
As you walk,
I see if anybody gives me an order.
Well, how about some dribbling of holy water on there?
No, I got something much better than that.
I think I'm gonna piss on it.
Okay, I take my staff sling with my big silver bullet, and I smash the skull with a silver bullet.
It's AC 2.
It's lying on the ground. It's helpless.
It appears to be lying on the ground.
Okay, well, if it moves, then I'll roll the dice. If it doesn't move, it's smashed.
Roll the dice.
All right, I'm rolling the dice. Doesn't
While
seem
he's
like
doing that, well, I did retrieve my belt and my mermaid dagger.
Okay, so your net and your leather constriction belt. I'm seeing a theme here.
Well, it's a blade now.
I think
I'll save the rest for the after dark show.
I rolled a crud 13.
All right.
It's going to be real weird when she asks you to use that belt to get another spell.
Yeah, really.
there was that hotel that one weekend. The skull moves over, and as it does, a section of the sand beside it moves as well, as though part of it, whatever it's connected to, is submerged.
Yeah, okay, that's easy to fix. I haul out my axe, and I take another stroke. And if I miss... What? I'm sorry, what?
Can he lift that axe?
Of
Oh, yeah,
course I can
it's
lift
gnome
the axe.
sized.
It's gnome size.
Yeah,
there we go.
They made that
It's
for
like
Keebler.
that big.
What is
So as
what
you-
does gnome-sized mean? Does it mean
It's like
tiny,
it's a hatchet.
small, petite, minuscule?
It's like a play school axe.
I think you're being kind of mean to me, considering I'm just trying to help.
So as he
Well,
pulls the
you were the
axe
one that
out,
called me this week asking to fix your browser.
No, I didn't. I wanted advice, is all.
On fixing your browser.
And you gave it to me. Thank you very much. I rolled an 18 that time.
all
So
right.
I'm entitled to a little ribbing.
Okay, you
give me
are.
damage.
All right, good.
1d6.
No,
it's-
this is battle axe damage. Isn't that 3d6?
Hold on.
Is
let me-
this Casper's unfriendly axe?
Yes.
That'd be a normal sized battle axe. We're talking about gnome battle axe.
No,
right?
no. Battle axe is a battle axe is a battle axe.
You said play school axe?
It's a 3d3.
It's 1d6.
Is that all?
So we're just so that you know, we're not playing AD&D.
Yeah, I understand that. But
Everything is a variation of D6.
It's a two-handed battle axe.
It's
I would
two-handed
think
for
it'd be-
you.
All right, you
It's
brute.
a toothpick for everyone else.
Yeah, fine.
It's a hand axe for
I
everybody
did
else.
7 points of damage.
Okay. Yep.
There's a
you-
reason why in Greyhawk, James, the gnomes don't have like any big cities.
The gnomes have lots of big cities, young man, and they're all
little
steam
teeny
powered.
Big to you.
They're all little teeny tiny roadside diners.
No.
It's the girth, not the length. That's what he's trying to tell you.
You split the skull and it like coughs bits of sand and then submerges itself.
The whole thing?
Yep.
Wow, that's kind of sad. 2 vials of holy water on the sand.
Okay. As you're doing that, the ghoul replaces his helmet and he says, "Over this way." And then he moves a series of stones on one of the broken walls, and that wall comes away with a set of stairs down.
That's fun.
I need a bit of healing.
Ditto.
That's what ogre clerics are for.
Yep, the big half ogre cleric comes up, and he heals 8 points to you, Nick,
Okay.
and then he casts again, and 4 points to you, Wilbur.
Anybody else still damaged? Because I can do bind wounds with
I've got
first aid kit.
2 points of
I am
damage.
untouched,
I'm
I would
not
go
doing
over-
weird.
except
Yeah.
my feelings are hurt.
I'm
I
not
did-
doing
gotta
weird necromancer shit.
So I got-
Bren, real quick, give me a saving throw.
Oh crap!
Yeah, really.
I gave 3 points to Wilbur.
19.
Okay.
I wonder if you can bind up the giant skeleton.
No, but I can mend it with my cantrip. That is
Ooh,
one I have.
I think
So
you
I'm
should do that.
That's a good thought, Benny. You get 1 XP from me, and I will go over to the to Matt Damon and mend. with
So
the
Matt
cantrip.
Damon is his bones are knitting back together due to the ring, and it looks like it's not going to be long before he's fully functional. He's already standing. It's just he's not fully combat operational yet.
Oh, I'll stay behind and wait for Matt Damon to repair. I'm not like weirdly creeping over this headless corpse.
Doesn't the mending heal some damage too, or not?
Yeah, a little bit.
I can
Okay.
heal him too.
All right, so you guys head into this wall, and there's an underground tunnel leading out. Do you
Nice.
you go in through there?
Yes, let's send our gnomish thief down there to investigate.
Jeez. I'm guarding the wizardress. Thank you very much.
They don't need to be guarding. We need a scout, Burgle.
I cast detect traps, and by casting
able to
detect
scout.
traps, that means I throw Benny down the opening.
Nobody's throwing Benny anywhere.
Well,
All right.
we need your skill.
All right, so I'm standing at the entryway until I blend in with the shadows. So I don't care how many times I got to roll a percentage dice. I'm not moving until I'm blending in.
So roll a 1d6. What are you level 2 yet?
I got myself at level 3.
You're level 3 already, so that
Yeah.
would be you need a 1 or 2 on a d6.
Okay, buddy. Got a 5.
All right. It takes more than a minute, but eventually you are kind of blended in.
Okay.
And then you go ahead.
Cool. Yeah, you bet. And then I'm going down the stairs carefully. I'm trying to detect traps using that percentage.
The ghoul looks at you, Chaos Actual, now that you've returned back to your normal form, and he says, "Do you always look like this? Like, is this your disguise?"
I drink a lot.
Okay, so this is. But do you need me to lead? I can lead the expedition underneath.
No, you're good right where you're at.
He'd rather torture Benny.
He says, so this is a coup against your brothers.
I don't know. I'm just taking shit.
Okay. He says, yeah, we just go here. It's a quick walk, and we should come out just on the inside of the temple.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's interesting, Clokey. All those details he's giving away.
He goes, yeah, I don't see him living through this.
Yeah, great.
I
Okay.
want you to know I'm not as dumb as I think I am.
All right,
is this the coup against your brothers, Clokey?
Define coup.
Well, it would be easier if you let me know what's going on so I can help you make it happen. Remember, I've proven I really don't want anything except super whiskey and a good time. Ain't nothing.
And a magical sword and a magical cloak and a magical breastplate and anything magic that isn't tied down.
I wouldn't mind a dead gnome.
Yeah. Yeah, great. Yeah.
All right, so you guys, it's only about 100, 200 yard passage.
Okay.
Looks like it's like this was a direct passage in through. And it comes up on the outskirts of the temple. As you, what do you call it? He comes forward. Are you going to let him find the exit, or Big Benny, did you want to find the exit?
You mean the exit from the corridor?
Yes.
Well, first of all, did I go all the way down to the end and no traps, no nothings?
Nothing.
Okay, then I will run back and tell everybody this passage is clear to the wall where the exit must be.
How do you know that the exit is there?
Because I am better than anybody here at spotting exits.
Okay. Well, is there an exit there?
Yes.
Did you see what was on the other side of it?
I wanted other people's support when I opened up the door.
Who do you want to support you?
Everybody here. Everybody here.
Okay.
I appreciate lending the ring to Matt Damon. You have my full moral support.
Okay, there we go for today.
I turn to the ghoul and I say, "What's on the other side of that door?"
He says, if we're lucky, it will be one of your brothers.
Oh, that guy loves to die.
Define brothers.
He says, one of the lords of Fang and Fog.
Oh, I see. Okay. And you think I'm one of them?
He says, I know you are. I saw you transform into your true self.
Yeah, well,
there we go.
That's my secret identity. Don't tell anybody.
Yeah, there we go.
You hear the cloak on the inside of your head saying, yeah, I really don't think this guy's going to be helpful very much longer. We should end him.
I think he's lots of fun.
He says, if we're lucky, it's just one of your brothers. He goes, if we're not lucky, then it's both of your brothers.
Right.
And their army.
Okay. I go to the cloaky and I say, what's your plan for that?
He says, all right, so do you remember a few hours ago when you were, and you get this sense of like the cloak pulling your arms, right? And you get that like air quotes kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, do you remember when you were talking to that admiral on the ship?
I do.
And by talking, I mean behind closed doors and horizontally.
Yes, I was.
I was
quite good at it.
He's like, I was totally not watching.
Yes.
Do you remember after when you were doing that whole trying not to cry after sex thing? And
Oh my God.
he says you mentioned to her something about her grand cannons.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Maybe you should. He says maybe you should have her shell the beach.
Have her shell the beach. Right now?
He's like, couldn't hurt before you left the door there, handsome.
Before I left the door. Wait. I'm missing.
Before we exit this hallway.
Right.
Into what could be certain doom for you.
Yes.
And probably an uncomfortable day for me.
Right.
Find a way to contact your admiral friend.
Uh-huh.
And have her use her cannons.
On the
That'll
beach.
distract.
Which is on the other side of the door, or just
yes. He's like, that's it, right? And you feel like the super whiskey flask being moved to the back of your armor.
Okay.
He's like, you're cut off.
But I can make this work. Okay, team. Change of mission. We need to get in touch with the admiral and have her shell the beach. Can we communicate with her?
He says,
yes, we can.
Your plant boy can.
So can Richardson.
Booger.
So I'm going to go ahead and have a. So wait a minute. Isn't the admiral? Is she like on the island up there somewhere, or she's on an airship?
No. She's on a ship, like an actual like galleon, war galleon. But you feel at the mention of when you see Rock Powers turn to you and kind of like you could communicate with the beach. You get the sensation that you have items that were originally not for you but are for you now.
I start taking inventory of my little doodads on my belt and go, which one of you are going to help me in this little task of mine?
Crow's beaks would probably be best.
All right, so I'm going to pull out the crow's beaks and, mind meld with them and try to send a message up.
What message do you whisper at the beak?
I tell it we need to let the admiral know now is the time to attack the land, along the beach.
All right, so the you're sitting there and you're whispering. It looks like a tuft of clipped black feathers tied with cord and with like the beak of a raven sticking out of it. Right, that's what the fetish originally looked like. The cords break, the feathers elongate until you are actually holding a bird in your hand. And after you're done whispering the message, it flies straight toward the wall. And then dissipates into mist.
Excellent.
Where are we going to be when these cannonballs start exploding all over the beach?
Right here.
You're the Pathfinder. You're going to be directing the shells in.
That's an army joke. After a minute or two, you start hearing the incoming, just like that. You hear the, and then you hear massive explosions outside. It goes on for a good 10, 15 minutes. And then the explosions stop.
So, Clokey, is the beach sufficiently prepped now for assault?
He says, I'm not really big on this whole Clokey thing. He's like, and this guy and your associate that's been helping you through the tunnel and the captured ghoul.
Yes.
You hear him start choking.
Oh, the poor guy.
You can see the part of the cloak wrapped around his throat.
Oh, wow.
This is awkward.
Yeah. Well, that's what you got to do sometimes.
Sharing is caring.
He says,
Mercy kill.
I told you, we're a team. If that's what you think you need for mission success.
He says, yeah, I'm not really feeling his employment anymore. I feel like I'm not really getting my money. And as he says money, you hear the neck break. And then the body slumps, and he's like, yeah, I think we're good now.
Okay.
I'm gonna loot the body.
Of course you are.
Of course you
I like
are.
that anything that happens, player characters suddenly like swarm like carrion and start just looting people.
I know,
rip
isn't that
off their
great?
boots and cut off their
Yeah.
toes.
Exactly.
This is what
So,
happens
I
in
remind
real life.
Clokey, I just say, Clokey, I know the score. I know that you're trying to conceal information, and I'm cool with that. I wish you trusted me more. So the question I'll go back to you now and say is it safe to assault the beach now?
Oh, yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Now that he's
Everybody,
gone.
follow me.
Okay. Now, is
Anything
the
of note
ring is the ring done healing the big skeleton? Can I get it back?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's put it on the dead ghoul. Without Clokey noticing, I hope.
Roll a d6.
Okay, I can do that.
God. But he doesn't have his armor or his shield or his spear anymore because I took those.
There we go. I rolled a 6.
All right, so JR, just so that you know, if you take all of that,
Encumbered.
you are going to be massively encumbered. You're going to have
I'm
a
giving
hard
it-
time moving.
I'm gonna
But
give
in
it to Matt
Skyrim,
Damon.
you can just get rid of your.
Matt Damon's already encumbered.
Matt Damon's already got a lot of stuff on him.
Yeah, you've pawned
Well,
off
I'm not
enough
carrying
on
your
that.
worthless crap.
All right.
He's my weapon. He needs to be able to fight, man.
And by the way, that ghoul didn't really have anything interesting, did it?
No, 'cause,
Oh, he's gonna have something interesting.
Nick took all of his weapons.
Yeah, of
All right,
course.
then I'll
he
just
did.
leave it. I'll just leave it beside him so he's not wearing it. Because I'm not putting that shit back on.
All right. You guys exit, and then the massive tower of the serpent is in front of you. Just off in the distance, like how much are you guys hiding?
None at all. Not
Oh,
at
yeah,
all.
I'm still in the
just-
corridor.
As much
Just
as
often-
possible.
Off in the distance, you can see there's a
Special person.
there's a single undead. It's wreathed in fire. It's got armor similar to what Nick was wearing earlier. And there's like a ghostly serpent that keeps wrapping in and around the armor constantly.
Yeah,
almost
of
like
course.
almost like a hologram moving around him.
All right.
So wait, did the ghoul come back to life from the ring?
I hope so,
Not
but
yet.
you guys are all outside. Only he and I are in the corridor.
Wait, are you like some kind of DM here, James?
Excuse me for making an assumption.
Well, you know
Walt,
what they say about assumptions.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. So, Walt, I would like to stay in the corridor with the ghoul, if that's all right with you. I don't know where everybody else is.
Yeah, everybody else is outside, and
Okay.
you're going to be in the corridor, so that means you're going to be back over here somewhere.
Okay.
All right. Bren, give me a saving throw.
I failed it.
Bren, while you guys are like exiting and setting up and starting to like prep for whatever it is ahead of you, he gets sick. He throws up on. Yeah, he throws up all over the place.
Ugh.
The poor guy.
Well, I just see one
Must be
guy,
the-
and I'm like, "This is going to be easy, guys. We got this." It's
Must
just
be his
one
nerves.
dude.
So I'll ask the cloak. I'll say, "Who's that?"
If I had to guess, that would be Darius, which is probably pretty good because if it was Merrick, we'd be screwed.
Oh, okay. And what do you want to happen to him?
Oh, he needs to die.
Oh, good. I can make that happen for you.
Yeah, we're all on the same game plan here.
So yeah, if we can get him quickly, he's kind of like a fighty, stabby type.
Okay, cool. Give me my wings.
No, I can only do that once a day.
Ah, damn. Okay, sweet. I charge Darius.
Okay.
I send in Matt Damon to charge too.
Wow.
All right. You guys are starting to run.
Yes.
I'm running and puking.
You're gonna start running and puking.
The best I can.
Can,
Just how
can I-
sick
can
am
I get
I?
a clean shot from where I'm at?
Probably. All right. So you guys want to try an action ahead of initiative. We have Nick, who's running, Matt Damon, who's running. Let's see. Big Benny, what are you doing in the hallway?
By the way, I'm casually walking.
Did the ghoul rise yet?
Not yet, but he's twitching like he's coming back to life.
Okay, I'll wait patiently.
J-Mac, you're walking?
I'm casually walking up behind the charge of Chaos Actual and Matt Damon.
Gotcha. That brings us to Ted. What are you doing?
I'll be heading around the opposite side in
So over this way?
Flanking movement, correct.
Gotcha. All right.
And sneaking whilst doing.
Gotcha. Rick James?
Is he within throwing distance?
No.
All right. I will follow Ted.
All right.
Moving with a purpose.
Ted, give me a D6 roll.
I got a 2.
Oh yeah. JR, you see him like enter like behind a sand berm over here, and when you go around the berm, he's gone.
Well, then I'll keep flanking around on my own.
Gotcha. That brings us to Booger.
Am I within throwing range if I'm using like a sling or something?
A sling, maybe. You're going to be at like the extreme of it.
Okay, like I want to sling that vial of good stuff at him.
Oh, the water from the other session. Yep.
Yes.
Bren?
Yes.
What are you doing other than throwing up massively?
Do I have a clear shot at the target that we're all charging?
If you want to, yes, you can be on this side and then you can shoot.
Okay. Well, since we are clearly in a full attack mode, I think I'm going to take a shot at my harpoon spear gun.
All right, you're going to be -2.
Okay, so I rolled 2.
What's our AC target?
He is a -1.
Ooh.
14.
14. Let's see. What level are you?
Level 5.
Level 5. That's. And you got a 14? You just no, you missed him because of the you're having problems.
Okay.
Richardson.
I am going to try to move up the side that JR went.
Okay.
And when I'm able to see him, I want to try to use my armor's command ability to have him just lock in place where he can't perform any actions and he's basically standing there.
All right, so you're going to try and command him?
Yes.
All right. He's going to need a saving throw. Okay. All right. All right. So that next round, Rock, you're within striking distance of him.
Right. I am going to actually just use my shield of skill. Announcing this at the beginning of the round, the duelist is able to use maneuvering and tactical advantage to parry all incoming attacks, such that his armor class is now 4 points better.
Gotcha. All right. So what does Matt Damon do?
Matt Damon attacks.
All right. Do you want to attack for Matt Damon or do you want me to?
You can attack for him.
Matt Damon, you see Rock Powers like run in, and he's got the he has his. Are you using the giant sword you just got?
Yep.
Oh God. So you put this thing up and then on your shoulder, and then run it forward so that it's kind of almost like a shield for you, and you start flitting around as the thing like looks like it's trying to get a bead on you. As you're doing that, Matt Damon jumps over you with all 4 arms extended, and the points of the blades facing forward.
I mean, this is super. This is X-Men,
right? Matt Damon lands behind him as the thing just steps out of the way casually, and embeds 4 points. 4 points of the blades just into the stone.
So
I
if this was
gotta
X-Men,
work on his targeting.
All right, big Benny.
Yes. Is our boy up and walking?
He's starting to move. It's not like you put it on him and it's like an instant thing. It takes
Sure.
quite a few rounds.
I have no problem with that. I'll wait patiently.
All right. J-Mac.
Ooh.
So Benny's not with us, right?
No, he's kind of. You guys came in out of a tunnel like over here.
Okay.
And he's like over
taking off.
here.
Okay.
He's kinda
Can I take a shot at him?
At who?
The main dude
Yes.
that we're attacking. Okay. Just gonna use a rifle.
There you go.
Was it 2d6? Something like
Yep.
that? 2 5s. 10.
All right. Well, you got to hit him first.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
That's important.
We'll
I
save
rolled
the
it.
damage.
I rolled a 16.
Yep, that hits.
Okay.
All right, you got 10.
So 10, yeah.
10
All right, so-
sweet points.
So you're sitting there, Nick, and you're just like angling and starting to maneuver so that he can't slap you. He starts, he was kind of kneeling. It looks like might have been in prayer. He stands up and starts maneuvering around you as though he's going to strike you first. Matt Damon jumps over you. He sidesteps, and Matt Damon lands right beside him, kind of like planting his blades in the ground. And then you hear two bumblebees pass by you and slap into his armor, leaving 2 holes. The snake, the slithering like ghost of the snake, slides, like breaks apart into multiple small worms and snakes, and they all crawl into the 2 holes that Crowley just made. That brings us to
Wow.
Ted.
Unmute. All right. So he left, or some 2 things kind of separated from him.
No, he just got shot.
Oh, he got shot. Okay, got
So
it.
and when after the rounds penetrated his breastplate, the little ghosts that were wrapped around him slithered into the holes.
Okay. I'm gonna try to come up on his. I don't know. On this, probably the 1 o'clock. I can't. If that makes sense. Like if I'm looking at him, his 1 o'clock, where he is.
Gotcha. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the map right there because you're looking at the map too, right?
Yes. Yeah.
All right, and then I'm going to give you
Right there is where I want to be.
He's already you have control of him, so if you want, you can move him where you want him.
Nice. Okay.
That's cool.
So you're going to be right there.
That's where I want to be.
Okay. Oh, J Mac, you didn't know you could do that?
No, I didn't. That's really cool.
Yeah, I'll give you the link for the next game, and then that way you can just jump in and you can put yourself wherever you want. And anybody can do
cool.
that. So, all right. So you're going to try and sneak up on him?
Yes, and do I have an attack action I can do as well?
Yeah, that'll become next round. Just roll a 1d6. A 4? Okay. They're predicting whether or not Benny will join the fight. All right, JR.
all right. Am I in throwing distance for a vial yet, or no?
For a vial, if you want to sprint.
Yep.
All right, go ahead. You're going to be at -2 to throw that vial.
All right. So I got a natural 20. -2 is 18 plus my 1 for base hit points. So I got a 19.
All right.
It's the elemental water we got last week.
Roll 4d6.
Nice vial.
4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Wow, that grade school math was kind of a challenge, huh?
I was infantry for a reason, brother.
We love the blue cord. All right, I got you. All right, so right after the ghosts kind of like meander into those 2 bullet holes, a vial of water splashes on him. You hear now, Rock, you're right in front of him. You hear a chorus of people screaming in anguish. Across his armor, you can see the metal kind of stipple and like the almost like a mural of people like reaching up to their face and screaming ripples across the armor where the splashes hit. That goes to Booger.
All right. I'm doing the vial as well. And I got a 17.
All right. Give me 4d6.
Okay. And the first one is a 9, and the second one is a 5, so 14.
14. So okay. Oh wow. You guys are dealing some damage. That goes to Bren.
I'm gonna go ahead.
Give me a saving throw real quick. Did you not make it?
No.
Bren
goes unconscious.
No. Bren stumbles past your friend, the ogre Templar, and enters this copse of trees, and is like massively throwing up.
Did I get into the Captain Super whiskey? Can I not hold my liquor?
No, you can't. You definitely can't hold your liquor, Richardson.
All right, I'm assuming that my attempt to control him failed.
Vial.
It doesn't appear that he is under your control.
All right, then. I'll put a burst into him with the MK 18.
Gotcha.
6 plus 5 is 11. That would be a 12.
12.
Good job.
He
adjusted 12.
An adjusted 12. The rounds skip around the feet of Rock Powers and almost strike Matt Damon, blasting stone kind of around the feet of your enemy. That goes. Now it's going to be. You see some kind of like skeletal hands come up from the ground around him and like grab his ankles. It looks almost like 10 or 15 people. Just they're not actually breaking the stone. It looks like they're just coming out of nowhere and like placing a hold on him. Behind you, you can hear Mage Manager Karen shouting out a litany of what sounds like curses. And those curses seem to be affecting the dead around him, causing him to be held in place. You all receive +2 to any saving throw as your Templar, your half ogre Templar, gives you guys a blessing.
All right.
So this skeleton, his hands are flaming.
His hands are flaming, but he's holding a sword.
But he's holding a sword. Okay, cool.
Yep. It whispers, and it sounds like a chorus of whispers and chants, and it says, "Nice to see you again, old man." He brings his sword around, trying to strike Rock Powers.
Impossible.
Whoops.
Difficult, not impossible.
He hits you.
Oh my gosh.
Nick, you take 11 points of damage.
Wow.
I fall down at the ground at his knees.
Do you?
I'm prostrate. And I say, I yield. I will give you my most valuable treasure.
Oh my God.
Is anybody else doing anything while this happens?
Can I use my camaraderie to take the hit?
I'll throw into the
You want
vial.
to take the hit for Nick?
Yeah. I run across screaming, "Get down, Mr. President!" and jump across the ledge.
Yes, you can use your camaraderie ability to take the hit.
Yeah.
You take the 11.
Okay.
Do you still do? That's awesome. Do you still do anything, Nick? Do you
Me?
do that same
Yes.
thing?
I say, don't slaughter my man. I yield. I will give you my most valuable, and I toss aside my sword as I reach into my cloak and I pull out the C4 that I was going to blow up
Oh, Jesus.
the squid men with.
Okay.
And I hold it out for them. This is my most valuable from the before. It is truly the most powerful substance of making magical weapons that ever existed.
You hear in your head, dude.
Yeah.
He knows what that is.
Sweet. I toss it at him and I blink.
In other words, like
I just toss
it
it like you toss, like, hey, catch this.
He catches it.
Sweet.
Weaponized IEDs. I like it.
Oh God!
And I blink.
I say to Matt Damon, we should run.
Grabbing Crowley as I do, like, just
and you set it off.
Heat and pressure. Yeah, heat and pressure should detonate it, right? If he grabs it and his hands are on fire.
No, this is
C4 doesn't blow that.
Yeah, C4 doesn't blow for fire. It blows from electrostatic charge.
Where you been all your life, Nick? Come on, you know that.
I always thought that you could light C4 on fire.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
You can. It just doesn't blow up.
Yeah, it just it becomes porcelain.
But if you put pressure on it, it should explode, right?
Nope.
No, it doesn't work like that.
Okay, cool. Well, then, I'll detonate.
You hear the cloak say, "I'm so gonna," and Crowley, you get like slapped to the floor and covered by the cloak. The cloak expands, becoming almost like a blanket, and then your detonation explodes. All right, give me 5d6.
Yay!
I'm glad I was standing far back.
I'm glad I'm in the trees puking.
Where is my d6? There's my. There we go.
Oh yeah. By the way.
Oh yeah.
3, 5, 11.
While you're doing this, Ted, go ahead and you're gonna make you're gonna try and get him in the back.
Yeah, that was the whole plan. So I'm probably, as he's tossing this, I'm probably jumping with knives bared, trying to get him in the back.
All right, go for it.
Is that am I rolling a d20 or is this the d?
Yep, d20. Tell me what you get.
18.
Oh yeah, you get him.
Nice.
And I'm gonna attack when he's done.
23 damage.
Jesus.
11 damage.
All right. So he grabs it. Right as he grabs it, you're just like, you feel you lose sight of everything as the cloak wraps around you and starts slapping you guys into the ground. The last thing you remember is seeing this half orcish dude coming out with like 2 knives, right? And he sees the brick, and you know that the ranger sent him, so he probably knows what C4 looks like when it's blocked. And he sinks the knives in and then ducks behind the thing, and then the detonation goes off. There's a huge, loud snap crack. It's not like in the movies where it's just like this like huge mushroom cloud. There is like an explosion of dirt and sand. Samson, Ted, you get blasted into the like the pillar that's behind him. That thing cracks and falls over.
Massive concussion.
Yeah, there's a massive concussion wave. Matt Damon explodes into shards.
Benny, we might need to borrow that ring again.
Anybody have any super glue, riddle tape?
I can mend it a little bit at a time. It might take weeks.
Start tying on the bones of it flying.
All right, so the explosion is so much that I need a saving throw from everybody to remain standing.
Everybody, but
so we get
plus
2.
Benny, you're in the hallway.
I'm in the hallway.
Do I?
Aren't I very far back?
Oh yeah, yeah. But still, you're getting debris.
Eh.
There's flying everything.
I rolled a
What about us-
4.
What about us under the cloak?
Don't
No,
forget to add your
you're
2.
stable.
Well, thank God, because I rolled a 6.
All right. Anybody who didn't make their saving throw is just knocked off their feet.
I made it.
I'm already off my feet, so I guess I'm slammed to the ground with my.
Benny,
Tunnel.
the door
Yeah.
to your kind of to the tunnel you're in,
Yep.
is blown off its hinges.
Is it really?
It shatters into rubble. And just as that happens, the ghoul that you were trying to resurrect comes to, and he's like, "What happened?"
And I tell him the captain's cloak tried to kill you, so stay away from it from now on.
He says, "You saved me?
I did.
That means I'm indebted to you."
Yeah, that's okay. I take my ring back, and we got an open doorway now, right?
Yes. He says, he hands the ring back to you, and he says, "This was unexpected. Thank you."
Yeah, if I did the expected, I'd be just like the captain.
He says, "What would you take in payment?"
That's an interesting question.
He says, "My kind cannot leave a debt on," and you get this wave of violence that floods into your hallway. It slams into him and rips his head from his body.
Oh, I hate that.
Wah, wah.
The thing turns.
Thanks, Walt. Thanks a lot, buddy.
The thing turns, right, and looks at you. It's enormous. Probably 5.5 feet at the shoulder.
Mhm.
It's got the remains of his shoulder and like his torso in its mouth. You'd hear this very heavy as it turns to face you. You catch almost like the light of outside reflecting in its eyes, right? It stands, and as it stands, it rips up the stone with its talons. 9.5, almost 10 feet tall. Its legs are kind of like arced backwards, and it spits out the thing and looks at you, and like starts to like reach out toward the sides of the hallway and hold on to the hallway, and it's ripping stone with its talons. Ears come up, right? Pointed, almost like a German shepherd, but like real back, swept back and pointed.
Great.
Roll for initiative.
Boy.
So, Benny, you don't need to thank Walt, though. You need to thank the dice.
Yeah, okay, yeah, right. All right, I rolled a very impressive 11.
Sparky?
Yeah.
What is the other side of your initiative?
You roll for us, the other group.
No. He's rolling for Sparky.
Yeah.
Right. I'm rolling for initiative.
Yep.
11.
And what did you get, Big Benny?
11.
I got an 11, but I have a very nice dexterity, which hopefully will help me a lot. I've got an 18 dex.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you go first.
Okay. So I don't recognize this as any of ours.
Yeah, no. This
Okay.
looks like a dog ate a linebacker and then decided to get angry at you for something.
I'm dropping 3 grenades and running like heck.
You have 3 grenades?
I got 20 grenades. We got replenished.
Well, you don't have 20. You have been using them steadily. You have about 4 or 5 left.
Okay, I'm dropping 3 and running like crazy.
All right.
On his little gnome feet.
Yeah.
Do you pull the pins on him, or you just drop them?
Come on, give me a break.
Wisdom check.
Because
Jeez.
like it's hard. Like, so your action would be pulling 3 pins.
No,
it wouldn't be
my action is pulling 3 pins and running.
Oh, well, listen.
It takes time to pull 3 pins.
Yeah.
Okay, how long? Now, Nick, please help me out here.
All right.
How long does it actually take with 3 grenades in my hand to pull 3 pins? How many seconds?
The way the sword is trained.
Let me show you.
Hold on
Okay,
one
good.
second, right?
Please
See,
do.
see this,
You see
right?
this grenade?
See
Yes.
this size?
Like that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
How are you pulling 3 pins
3 at
at
a
once?
time.
Okay,
If my
I'm-
normal size hand, and this is the size of an M67,
Oh, all right. Well, I thought they were the little round grenades, is what I thought they were.
which are this
They are.
size. That's
Yeah.
what they. This is the size of them.
But
I
that
guess
can
I
be
can
like-
only. Can I pull 2 then, or can I only pull 1?
Well,
You
okay,
could
just
pull-
you got to be technical. Like, if you pull that grenade, you have a minimum, well, a maximum, really,
of
well, a
3
minimum
seconds.
of 3 seconds.
Yeah.
So, like, now
I'm not
but
having
so-
a problem with that.
Right. So, like, you have to like throw it. Then you have to get your next grenade. Then you have to pull that pin.
Okay,
Then you have
why
to throw it. Then you have to get your next grenade. You have to pull
Receive.
that pin. Then you have to throw it. It's not just like it's. This is not
You
like
can-
I double tap the inventory and 3 grenades fly away. It's an actual action, and I think rounds are like 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Rounds are. I thought. Oh, I'm sorry. Forgotten Runes rounds are 5 seconds.
Well, no, it's a full minute. It's like a give and take type of thing.
It's a full
So-
minute, Nixter.
Okay.
You're gonna just in your previous life as a deployed air ground response element member,
Yeah.
if you drop that in here,
Hmm.
the pressure is going to hurt you as much as it's going to hurt him.
Yeah. You
Okay.
Yeah.
Your mom probably said that a lot to you.
I-
It's gonna hurt
I
you as much as it hurts you.
I find myself running for my life.
All right, so you run up the hallway.
Yep.
Okay. The thing bounds from wall to wall, and I assume is going to jump onto you. Bren, go ahead and roll an attack roll.
On legendary DM James M. Ward.
Let's see here. That's unadjusted 18.
Oh my God. That's not a good thing for me.
No.
2d6.
The moral is, I
86.
guess you should have stayed with us.
No, that's not the moral I'm getting.
Let's see.
We'll help you.
6.
Well, as soon as we figure out what's going
Yeah.
on, because we're
As soon as
busy.
we
with
recover
something
from the
else.
combat we were all involved in, we'll come help you. You
How
just
much-
hold him off.
How much was it? 6?
He said 6.
As you look back, the thing slashes across your face and back. You see the kind of like the Templar dude run in and start chasing up the hallway towards you. So it looks like you got some backup coming.
Run to mama.
What do? Do you continue to run?
I continue to be very unhappy and run.
Bren can take another attack. Go ahead.
Is Benny running toward us or away?
No, he's running back up the hallway.
It's
Away.
unadjusted 9.
You're running
All right.
away from our ability to help you, Benny.
Exactly.
Which
If only you'd been
No.
closer to us, we could have helped you.
Yeah.
The beast slams its paw into one of the stones, like of the hallway, ripping out cobblestone and like knocking it into the floor. You jump over it very easily, kind of like doing some parkour element, kind of like bounding from wall to wall. Are you still running, or are you just?
Well, how far away is the cleric?
He's catching up. It'll probably be 2 rounds before he catches up.
2 whole rounds.
run, little gnome, run.
Well, you were so far away from us. That was the problem.
And
That's
he's
not,
still running in
that's
the wrong
not the
direction.
That's
problem.
why you never separate from your party in a dungeon.
Never
Okay.
split the party.
Oh my God. I will keep running.
Hey Nick, I seem to remember when we had that class, and there was this legendary game designer who told us there was a reason for that, right?
I remember that. I remember him saying that.
Bren,
It was when we were guarding the castle, and he said, "Never split the party."
I'm ceasing to enjoy myself.
So the beast jumps to the ceiling
Yeah.
and like claws across the ceiling for a second before like trying to jump ahead of you. It kind of flips backwards and lands, and you it's like if you've ever heard a dog's jaw snapping, you hear snap, snap, snap as you slide under it, kind of like, Rocky Balboa, its little man bits on the way by, and then keep running again.
Are you telling me that he has his back to me?
Now he's got his back to you.
Okay, I'm backstabbing him.
All right, so you're going to stop and backstab? Go ahead.
Yes, sir.
You should put on your Ring of Dead resurrection because I think you're about to die.
I wish I would have thought of that, but I didn't.
AC 5.
Okay, I got a very nice 19 this time.
All right, damage.
Unfortunately for me, the stupid axe only does a D6. So I do a total of, I know.
It's a poor player who blames his instrument.
10, 11, 12. I do a total of, I got to double it. Wait. I got to triple it. So I do.
Take off your shoes.
Yeah, thank you. 18 points.
All right. You cleave into the back of this thing, right? Fur, blood, and bones spray across the hallway.
I love
As you
that.
rip the axe back out, the skin and flesh start knitting back together.
Oh, that sucks.
Maybe he's got your ring.
Put the ring on the wrong one.
He backhands you, or tries to. Go ahead and roll.
Okay, he can't even see me, so how is he doing this? And what am I rolling? Am I rolling a 20-sided? What am I rolling?
For what?
It's Brent's turn.
You told me
Brent,
to roll.
It's the other. It's the
I
other
see.
turn.
Brent is doing it. Okay, go ahead.
What hit bonuses do I have?
I'm sorry.
To get him, you need a 12 or higher.
Do you know how many convention players, Bren?
13.
Do you know how many convention players will rejoice at you killing the guy who's killed so many players over so many conventions? You will be like their hero. They will set up booths at cons to come and get your audience.
Across
you know what? We're not Comic Con's coming up in the fall, so I'm
across the lintel
and
of large doorways.
I'm going to make you a T-shirt and pay for your airline ticket to go to these things. And that T-shirt is going to say, "Never split the party."
Yeah, and there'll be a giant mustache across all the lintels of the entrance and exit.
And your groupies, your James Ward killer groupies will all wear like those Groucho mustaches.
2d6 more.
Yep.
Never split the party.
4.
4. And that brings you to what, Benny?
That brings me to 10 points of damage. I got lots more.
All right. The Templar gets there and swings the mace that he's carrying.
And he misses.
No, he hits. It shatters the shoulder, and as the mace goes by, you see part of the shoulder bone come out, the flesh reach out, grabbing it, sucking back in, and then the wound closes.
Holy shit.
I love that. Okay, but now he has his back to me again.
Yep.
Is it our turn now?
Yep, it's your turn.
I'm getting this bastard. He's going to die one of these days. I only got a 15 that time. Does that hit his back?
It does hit his back.
Okay. Then I'm going to kill this guy right now. That's too bad. 12 points.
12?
Yeah.
Okay. You bite deep into what would be his spine.
Yeah.
And as you rip the axe out, more blood, bone, and fur. Bren, which one are you attacking? The Templar or the gnome?
Little guy.
That little gnome has pissed me off. I'm going
Okay, so I'm not sure how to do it, but with that attack, can I summon the ghost of the axe?
Oh yeah, you can. You have the commands to do it.
Okay, that gets done.
All right, go ahead, Bren.
19.
Ooh,
damage.
That's a nice hit, buddy.
What's the damage, Bren?
How much?
I'm blanking.
Okay.
Let's see. I don't know if it hadn't went under my keyboards. 8.
8. Okay.
And what does that bring you down to?
8. Now you're making me do math now, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's fine. I can do math. Okay, that's 18. That's 5. 25. I've got 25 left.
You got 25 left. How many did you start with?
I started with 43.
43. How did you end up with 43 hit points?
Okay. Remember, it's not just the thief. I added on my hit points to my soldier hit points.
Yeah. Which soldier you should have had what? 25?
I thought it was 29.
Let me look you up here.
No?
I thought I was good at 19.
I'm like, wait a minute.
That seems like a lot of hit points.
That is a lot.
Okay, fine. I'm sorry. What was my number before?
Hold on. I'm looking you up right now.
All right, good.
War game collected.
I think he's right though on the because on the grunt it's 29 hit points. That's what I got for the.
That's what you had. I got him right here. Hold on. Master Sergeant. So you had at level 5. You had 29 hit points. Yep.
Well, what? That's what I said, wasn't it?
And you had...
and then I added 11, 15 points for my levels, for thief levels.
15 for... So you got 3 5s?
I got a 6, 5, and a 4.
Okay.
Wait, what level are you? You're like 8?
How is he level 3? I'm fighting to get level 2.
I got myself... Well, thieves don't... Magic users need more points than thieves. But let me add that up just a second. So I was at a total of 44 points. Okay, and I just took 18. 44.
So you're down to 26.
So,
all right.
Just like I said.
All right. So that's okay.
Okay.
All right. Go ahead. You summon the ghosts.
Yeah.
You see 4 gnomish warriors.
Oh, I'm gonna love this.
Appear next to you.
The wolf
Run away.
One of them bites deep into Bren's flesh.
Oh yeah.
The blade comes away and splatters more blood on the floor.
Okay.
Bren.
Yes.
Attack.
Gnome, ghosts, or Templar.
4 ghosts, buddy.
All right, go
That
ahead.
makes me pretty mad.
I'm not gonna like this.
19.
Damage.
That's another great hit. Good job.
Let's see. 6.
Okay, so I'm down to 6. I'm down to 19.
Looks bad for you, Jim.
I'm not worried at all. So his back is no longer to me. His front is to me.
Yes.
And the back is to the paladin. Or not the paladin, the cleric.
He's kind of backed up against the wall, so he's got you on his right, the ghost to like around him, and then the paladin dude to his left.
Okay, so we're all making normal attacks on the guy then.
Yep.
Alrighty. So I don't know what the 4 ghosts roll. You want to roll for them and do the?
I already rolled for them. Yep.
Okay, thank you, my friend.
So go ahead.
And I'm doing a very nice 18 with my axe. And I do a ridiculously 3 points of damage, unfortunately.
Lancing blow.
All right. One of the things you're noticing is all of these wounds are closing very, very rapidly.
On the guy.
On the thing
on
you're
the
fighting.
Monster. Yeah, okay. That's fine.
The paladin goes to swing. And you see the thing kind of like turn its head, and the mace runs by and just misses him completely.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Bren?
What about our 4 ghosts? Did they all miss?
I rolled last round. They're going to roll this round in just a second.
Okay. All right, buddy.
Unadjusted 5.
All right.
That doesn't sound good.
He swipes at midair as you duck. One of the ghosts drives his dagger through the top of Bren's foot.
Before.
I love that.
Trying to pin him to the stone. James?
Yes, sir?
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. My turn to swing?
Yes, sir.
Do they have any other ghostly powers? Do they drain life energy or do anything fun like that?
Doesn't look like it.
Funny bone?
Okay, that's fine. I understand. Okay, as JR would say, net 20.
Roll a percentage.
Oh, that'll be interesting. I've never done that before.
Ever?
Roll. Well, yeah, I have. Yeah, okay. Great. All right. 72%.
You cut into his left arm, nearly severing it from the shoulder.
Oh, yeah.
But once again, it looks like he's healing very, very quickly.
Okay, I don't know if we'll ever get this guy dead.
Bren?
I'm just at 7 on the gnome.
Nope. So, yeah, you swing again. And then the paladin.
Get him, Paladin. Get him, Ghosts.
He hits. Yep. He tries to knock off that single arm.
Oh, yeah. Good idea.
As he hits the arm, you hear it break. And then you hear the bones like creaking and cracking as the skin starts absorbing the arm back to trying to put it back in place. Bren? Oh, wait a minute.
Ghosts.
The ghosts do not hit you that time.
You useless ghosts. We're going to have a talk after this battle, Ghosts.
Probably on the other side.
I take a bite at Benny.
That's good.
17.
17. All right.
Wait, you're biting this time?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
3d6.
Biting. He bites you.
He's a dragon.
Squeak toy. Let's see. Ooh. 13.
Wow. I'm down to 6.
Oh. Looks bad.
Hey, Walt, why don't you bring Baldur in and give him one of his squeak toys so we can get a demonstration of what's going on here?
One of the mages comes in.
Well, it's about gosh darn time.
And you hear a sibilant voice as a series of like ghostly daggers flies from his hands.
Oh, I love magic missiles.
And that they embed into the upper chest, causing some damage that doesn't appear like it's healing.
Well, that's something.
As Scooby would say.
But continue attacking the gnome because that wizard won't kill you at all in next round.
Well, the gnomes have pinned me to the ground, so.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
The ghosts stab you again. One of the ghosts runs a blade right into the center of your thigh.
Ooh, I love that.
Retracts, and like 3 other gnomes like hold onto your leg.
See, I can't attack the mage.
Like a kid who's trying to keep you from running off.
Moving, yeah.
That brings us back to Benny.
Benny has to back up out of melee range.
Okay.
Ooh.
Templar goes to swing at you and cracks the stone right behind where your head was.
Oh, jeez.
Okay.
Bren?
Can I still? I mean, they're just ghost gnomes, so how much force can I still make an attack on Benny?
Yeah, to -1.
Okay.
Only a -1.
Natural 20.
What? What? Let me roll your percentage dice. Can I roll your percentage dice?
Yes, you may, sir.
Please.
Tell me what you got.
90. I'm not kidding.
90 what?
99.
Are you serious?
I'm serious.
He's not in the battle. Why should he roll the percentage?
I just asked if I could.
I give him.
The ghosts hold on. He kind of lunges. As he lunges, he grabs both sides of Big Benny's shoulders. The jaw opens wide enough to engulf his whole.
Okay, I would like to protest that. I could understand a claw getting me, but I backed up out of melee, so there's no way he can get his jaws on me.
How heavy are those ghosts?
I would like to look up what Gary Gygax wrote in the DMG about rules lawyering.
So the
fine.
Your eyes and skull rupture under the pressure of his jaws.
Great.
And you go unconscious.
Okay.
Let's see.
Never split the party.
The Templar swings again and hits, doing that. Once again, his mace breaks something, which almost immediately heals.
Then the full moon is covered by a cloud.
The mage fires another salvo of those darts, which once again impales you and does not heal. So that's causing direct pain.
Ooh. So I'm standing there with a gnome in my mouth.
And a Templar attacking you, that big huge thing, and then the what do you call it? The wizard. He's casting spells.
You could always just run off with Benny in your mouth.
Did the ghosts go away?
The ghosts are still attacking.
All right.
Can I shake him a little bit to make sure he's dead? You know, the way a German Shepherd.
He's not moving.
Okay, then I will drop him and go for the mage.
All right. So you run by the Templar?
No. Yeah.
Doesn't he have gnomish ghosts holding his leg?
Yeah, he's going to be at -1 to
I
attack.
think if you consult the Deities and Demigods book written by James M. Ward, the gnome is now with the gnome underworld. What is that gnome, James? Didn't you write that book?
19.
19 on the mage?
Isn't it like Niflbunger or something like that? Aren't you in Niflbunger's hell?
What am I rolling?
Damage for bite?
3d6.
3d6.
Okay. 9.
You tear his torso in half. Slamming the outer torso against the wall. His legs like twitch for a minute and then fall over.
Chicken.
His little legs.
No, this is a mage. This is the mage, a regular
the mage. You killed the mage.
You killed one of the mages.
You're on a killing spree. What the hell is he?
I think I'm going to outdo Naylin today.
The Templar tries again. This time he casts a spell. He drops the mace and plants his hand on you. It burns the shape of his hand into your flesh, and that doesn't heal either.
And the weird part is it's on your butt.
Yes. Bad doggy. Do you stay? Do you leave? What do you do?
I'm going to try to run out the corridor.
You can look out the door that was broken off. You can see more you can see a mage, one of the mages preparing a spell, and that woman who now looks very concerned. She's hurt. She's got what looked like shrapnel damage all to the side of her. Like she's hurt bad. She looks like she's staggering but trying to prepare a spell.
I charge for the door. Can I attack her in this same deal, or is that a whole action?
Just as you reach the doors, the ghosts disappear. So now you are unfettered.
Bummer.
Okay.
What do you do? Yep, you attack her.
Unadjusted 6.
All right. You fly by her and like dig huge furrows of the stone as your claws and talons like rip up the space. Ted, you're alive, but like badly bruised and hurt, like bad.
Hell wrong.
Right? You look up and you see what looks like the biggest dog you've ever seen slam out and try to eat the mage.
Okay.
You guys are coming from under the cloak, you and Crowley, and you see the same thing. You see like a bloody torso get spit into the expanse. This dog follow it and almost like cut in half the mage Karen. She raises.
I didn't like her anyway.
She raises a hand. Give me a saving throw.
13.
All right, so you save, so you're going to take half. Ooh. She yells out a word, and you see huge arcs of electricity spark all over the ground. They arc up into her hand, and then she throws her hand forward. A bolt of lightning hits the dog. It singes his flesh and arcs all over him, catching some of him on fire. You're hurt bad, Bren.
Oh.
Do you continue to attack, or do you leave?
Leave where?
Over the sand dune. I'm gonna haul ass.
All right, so you're hauling ass. Does anybody take a shot at him on the way out?
I go back under the cloak.
I'll try to take one just because I'm trying to figure out what the hell's going on.
Remember, he's a player.
Well, I don't know that. After getting my bell rung by the massive explosion that I was not expecting.
You're welcome.
Yes.
All right, go ahead and roll. Let me know what you get.
JR,
11.
you've been in like 25 massive explosions, right? And you're good.
I got an 11 total.
What? Huh? What? Yeah.
Oh, that's your answer.
JR's fine. He's
All right.
fine.
A round blows through his shoulder, and you see like this huge gout of blood come out, right? And then you see like the entrance wound, and the skin and flesh immediately seal right back over. He disappears over a sand dune. The cloak says, "Yep, that's a thing that happens here. I don't see my other brother, and I can't take another hit like that today. So I really think we should have a nap."
I will take off the cloak and fold it and store it up in my I don't even carry a rucksack. I toss it to Manboy. You carry this for a few minutes.
And we'll continue next week when sci-fi writers are playing old school D&D. Thanks everybody for coming out. We appreciate your time, and we'll catch